And we're back. Hello, everybody. What's up? I'm Jay with Guilty of Crime, and we're back. What day are we on? Is it only Tuesday? Only Tuesday? Ah! All right, guys, come on in. I'm trying to get myself in a really good mood. It's been one of those days, one of those days where just everything goes wrong. And it's nothing like really bad because when you look at it in perspective of this case right here, David's really taking a hit. So when I start seeing this and what he did to Celeste's body, nothing that happened to me today trumps any of this. All right. So let me get started by saying hello, Flojo TV. How are you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Joanne, how are you? Deb, I see you in chat. I wish I could help you, but I don't know. I don't know what's going on with your YouTube, the internet. I tell you, what's up, Edith? Good to see you guys. Yeah, it's just one of those days, right? It's one thing after the other. It's not even just like one thing. It's two and then three and then four. But like I said, I really don't want to complain. I'm just going to get in a better mood and we are going to you guys are actually going to see this case covered in a way that I've never covered a case before. So, happy Tuesday. I'm glad you're here, Allie and Mama Sage and Synth and Kel and Mods and the old gray goat. Mama Sage, good to see you. Everybody else in the house, what's up? Always a pleasure. I mean, this channel has definitely morphed since I started 2 years ago, right? I think we hit the 2 year mark in February. So we've been over 2 years now. We're almost at 40,000 subscribers, guys. That's pretty good. That's pretty damn good, I would say. Yes. I mean, it's just one of those days and everything's costing money. Yeah, it's one of those days, but then you add that on top of it and it's like, damn, can I get a break? I'm lucky I already bought my Crime Con 2026 tickets. Otherwise it would be like, nope, I'm not going to do it. So that being said, guys, my special drink today, Allie, is this. I do not have I have a Frappuccino, but I'm not going to even show you because my real name is on it. It's on the back. So, no Red Bull, but I have a Frappuccino for you. All right. Felicia, good to see you. All right, guys. So I'm covering this case like I've never covered a case before. And I only say that to say I don't normally I haven't covered celebrities or somebody that's a social media influencer that millions of people know and that the person was literally hiding in plain sight and there was no hiding for it. It's like me doing this. All right, proud mom of two girls, what's up, my friend? You should definitely get yourself a membership. People don't understand the cost of money and a ton of effort to put these shows together. You're right, Flojo. You do have an idea. It takes me almost 45 minutes just to prep to download stuff, but it takes all day to get the show together. And even some days, yes, it's a caramel frappuccino, Joanne, a caramel frappuccino. I just didn't want to show my name, so I cover my name up, and there you go, caramel frappuccino, a giant one. All right. No, that J is what everybody called me when I was tattooing, and so it stuck. J, but my legal name is not that. Although it's probably easy to find, it's better just to keep it as J. I know who's who and what. All right. All right. Shadow says, hi there, Jay and Shadow. Love all your streams. I rewatch your streams while I'm doing scratch off cards at night and watching TV. Love you, Jay. You're awesome. And thank you so much, Shadow Lion. You know how I feel about my fellow lions, Leos. All right. I know. I know. Listen, guys, this is okay. So, like I said, this is a case that is like no other that I have covered. And it is always good to see Deb and others. The Michelos just reached out. We're gonna do something with them. Little Corey Michelos, he would be 12 years old on Friday, guys. So I do pride myself on the coverage. and the people that I stay in touch with. And I'm always a platform to lend to somebody. All right. Whether it's Flojo trying to get his channel up, or Map, or a victim, or a victim's family. That's what we do. And it makes us feel good to help people. It does me anyway. I would much rather help people all day long. That makes me feel good inside. All right. Mr. Bach, good to see you. Sadie's mama, always a pleasure. Marie. All right. Now listen, guys, check this out. So this guy is hiding in plain sight. And when I say that, I literally mean he did everything in front of the camera. Not only am I going to show you instances today, but I'm going to follow my non-clickbait title. Now, I never pretend to be the news. Okay, so if someone ever comes in and says fake news, yeah, it is fake news. I'm not the news. This is for entertainment purposes only. And that's the category I put my channel in, entertainment. Yes, blessings to Corey. All right. Blessings to Corey, and the whole Michelo family is devastated, and rightfully so. But I want to help them. Tiff's going to help me help them. We're going to do something special. I will let you know. David is absolutely cooked. But let me tell you something. Here's the thing. No clickbaits. Screw the clickbaits. Who saw this coming? We're going to talk about that. David's invisible string theory. Oh, it backfires like a mother trucker. And then why everyone's done with him. And I shit you not when I say everybody is done with him. I'm going to tell you everybody that's canceled him, turned their back on him, testify against him, told on him. This guy's toast. He's cooked. All right. Now, he is in the same jail as Nick Reiner, but going from his lifestyle of him being able to do his hair and put his contacts in and drive these Teslas and $20,000 a month and fly from New York to Santa Barbara without anyone knowing, those days are over, David. May your career rest in peace. It will never, ever happen again. And I'll show you guys what I'm talking about today. Of course, we're going to get into everything. And then at the end, I'm going to say what's next. All right. So again, thank you, Flojo, for kicking that off. If anyone else wants to, throughout the episode, help get towards our goal, that would be amazing. Thank you, Panda Ann. Good to see you, Maggie. Good to see you, Kimberly. Deb, I'm glad I see you typing away. All right, everybody. Sarah, always a pleasure. All right, I love you guys. Thank you for being here. And prayers if there is a big fat tornado in Texas, be safe. I'm in Cali. I know nothing about tornadoes. I do know about fires and earthquakes, and thus far, we've been okay. You know, our roof fell in 2 years ago, and right, it's always something. But whatever. I'm grateful because I opened my eyes today and I can breathe. Choo choo. Hello, Felicia, and bye, Felicia, at the same time. All right, guys. So listen, we're going to start off with this. Who saw this coming? Now, if you didn't see this coming, you really didn't know who David was, and you never really did watch his content. All right. You never really did know him, and you never watched it. You only heard about this when I heard about it. And that's when a lot of people heard about it. Justice for Celeste. Thank you so much, Miss Dizzle. Thank you. Sadie's mama. Thank you. And okay, so we got Flojo, Felicia, Miss Dizzle, and Sadie's mama. You guys rock. All right, I'm going to tell you something real quick. First of all, love you, Sadie's mama. I hope you're doing well. Choo choo. If you did not know what David was doing, it's because you didn't know David. If you didn't see the signs, it's because you didn't watch his stuff. If you didn't watch his stuff and see him across the platforms, now I'm going to show you who David really is. All right. Now that we know that he's locked up and he's got the most harshest of charges that you can get in California, minus the death penalty, which we don't know yet, he's done this to this little girl and bragged about it right in public. He's done shit in the public and he laughs at you all. He laughs at me. He laughs at you while he's back there doing his timeline of nefarious things and having graping young kids. All right. That's what he's doing right in front of the camera, and none of us caught it. But I got to tell you, we didn't catch it, but the children did. And many, many, many children are coming forward now saying, I told you so. I tried to call the cops. Nobody would help. Blah, 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 blah. Right? Oh God, this is the string theory. Just wait. Don't even think about it until we get to the string theory. I had never heard of him either. And that's why I say this guy's hiding in plain freaking sight. Listen, I'm going to just start off with this real quick so I can get everything else situated. And then I'm literally going to show you person by person, place by place, company by company, thing by thing. Anything connected to David is gone. Those were the days of old for him. Okay. And he's not that old. So let's get started. Like I said, this is an episode you're not going to want to miss tonight. And if you do, you should go back and watch it. Let's start off with an aspiring artist. Again, somebody's kicked him to the curb, and I'm going to tell you who and why. Now, I was selective with the who's, never selective with the whys. Okay. But I could have showed you 25 more examples, but instead I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 different examples of different things. And of course, we're going to talk about the trial and the fact that he's not going to waive his right to a speedy trial. He says, let's go, which means he doesn't even have to have a defense. We'll get into all that and what's going to happen next. Let's get into this. Remember, this guy is not only an alleged murderer, but he's also a giant pedophile. Okay.
Hey guys, so I'm not sure if you've seen these messages already, but these are screenshots that a singer by the name of Caden Neese or something posted about conversations that he was having with David after Celeste Rivas Hernandez was found in his frunk. Now, if I were you guys, I would not support this artist because, as these messages are going to show, he was perfectly fine being a companion to David, a supporter of David's, talking to him, hyping him up, saying that he trusts David after Celeste's body was in his Tesla, after it came out that David was being investigated for murder. Now David's in custody. He wants to post these screenshots to bring clout and attention to his page. I just don't really support that. On October 15th at 10:30 in the evening, he messaged David saying, I pray it's all just misinformation. The internet sucks. To which David responds the next day at 5:26 saying, really does. So much twisted and fake. He responds back that he's sorry. David responds back, God bless you, twin. Keep going with your music.
Guys, I really do think that he thought he was going to get away with this. And you guys are going to say, what in the holy Jesus happened here? What happened? Person after person, thing after thing, kid after kid. This guy was a pedo that was handed way too much money, way too young, with 0 restrictions. And when I say 0 restrictions, I mean 0 restrictions. There was nothing off limits for this guy. I mean, what is this? This isn't even cute. This is not even cute what he's doing there. But it attracts kids.
Don't stop for nothing. To which he responds back, thank you. I'll never forget. You helped me so much with the band lab stuff. Big inspiration. Hope you're staying safe for real. Love you. The fact that he's saying love you to a guy that literally groomed a child starting when she was 11, someone that harbored a minor, someone who was supplying DRUGSs and alcohol to a child is crazy. This was all stuff that we proved back in September of 2025, and he's messaging him in October. You weren't even messaging this guy to get inside information. If you were, that would be one thing, but you're literally just being a supporter and a fan of his.
Yeah, and remember, her body was found in September, all right? And so this is afterwards. Even his own brother is deleting him and saying all pedos should die. Which, again, I don't even think dying is good enough or easy enough. I think Mab and I should just both get our shotguns with the biggest shotgun caliber that we have, whatever the biggest double barrel, and just shoot right at the crotch, right? And then let him live. Take him to the ER and let him live, because that's what pedos, that's where they should go.
Then David responds back, love you, bro. Appreciate you. You ever need presets or opinions on music? I got you. They start talking about religion. David starts recommending books or stories in the Bible. He says, read Psalms and Proverbs, which is basically the motivational part of the Bible that teaches you how to pray. Bible is confusing, but if you read it in that order, it starts to make sense. Reading it in chronological order is tricky. So he's basically showing this guy how to read the Bible. Again, why you're asking someone who we literally proved back in 2025 was essaying not one, not two, but at least 3 minors and then being investigated for murder about religion is beyond me. If you want to learn how to read the Bible, maybe go to church or look it up on ChatGPT. Why are you asking a literal pedophile? Anyway, after this guy's
and it's hard for me to want to edit these words because the problem is that people need to know that it was the drugs. It's him being a pedo. He's up for murder. I just can't. Simply can't see the gravity of the situation and be like, yeah, you know, pew pew and blah blah blah. Like, I'm doing my best here because this makes me mad. Now, yes, Mr. Bot, it's a mix of fame and drugs, but you forgot the money. The fame and the drugs may be there without the money, but not typically. And the drugs are always going to be on tap when you have money and you're in the Hollywood scene in Los Angeles at 18 years old. He started his career, I think, maybe 2 years prior to meeting Celeste. I mean, I'm sure he used drugs before. I mean, he's kind of a weird dude. It seems like he does psychedelics and uppers and downers and all arounders. He's just a weird pedo. And now I know what was bothering me about him because I don't like him, and his music effing sucks. All right, you'll see what I mean. You're going to have to listen to bits of clip. All right, thank you, Mama Pearl, for the $1.99 towards our goal. The Bible's not tricky. The enemy is what's tricky. I like that, Linda. All right, let's continue. We got a lot to get to. I just want you to see this as of yesterday, people just dropping off. Right now, this guy is kind of supporting him, but I assume if somebody asks him in public, this aspiring artist, he will say, I do not support David.
Starts getting advice about the Bible. He responds, thank you, to which David says, bro, of course, my goats. When people stop stalking my IG followers to make conspiracy theories, I gotta follow you back. The guy ends up double tapping the message. He hearts it. He wants David to follow him back. He wants to be friends with this guy who is literally a sicko. On December 18th, 2025, he messages David again saying, I know you're innocent, but why can't the world know? These people are stupid. To which David says, haha, with all humility, I would phrase it as mere ignorance rather than unintelligence. Trusting God, my friend. How has your journey into the faith been going? So we're ignorant and stupid because we found the photos, we found the messages, we put 2 and 2 together. Seems like the pot calling the kettle black, right? Then in January of 2026, just a couple of months ago, this guy starts messaging David asking for movie recommendations.
Yeah, this is crazy. If we happen to find out who this particular artist is, these are the people that we want to keep out of our peripheral vision and out of our children's. Yes, we do have the death penalty in California, and with the governor now going to be pushed out very soon and a new one coming in, I think they're going to end up lifting the moratorium they have on it, don't you? Now, listen, Gigi, David was born in the wrong era. If you switched him with P. Diddy would be in the same amount of trouble, or worse, and vice versa. Back when P. Diddy was out planning allegedly Tupac and Biggie's murders, they weren't online telling the whole world about what they just did or what they're going to do. That's what he's doing right here. I'm going to show you in front of your very eyes what he does online, and it just tells you right there. It's about Celeste. There's nothing hidden. It would be like if I just pulled out a crack pipe right now and started smoking some crack and blowing it out, and I ain't hiding anything. And then later you're like, wait, what? Jay smokes crack? Well, didn't you just see her on the camera doing it? That's how bad it is. That's how much was missed. And it's crazy. I can't believe it. But I guess there's always a time for us to open our eyes. 6 months, let's go. And Mab's ready to go to, he's ready to go to Vegas. Me too. Member for 14 months. Thank you, in Brighton. How you doing? Good to see you. This guy, you guys, you're going to be like, what? How did it even get that far? How did this get that far? Why did Celeste, why was she a witness that was able to go back and reconnect with him? I just can't comprehend that. Now, throughout this episode, I ask you, if she was a blonde hair, blue eyed little girl whose parents spoke English and maybe had some kind of little bit of clout, maybe not rich, would she have got more attention in the case? If a blonde haired, blue eyed, perfect American looking all American girl was missing again and again and again by this African American singer, how fast do you think law enforcement would have stepped in? Do you think they'd have waited until body parts were just there? Just asking. It's just something to think about. All right. They're going to talk about it today in some of the clips.
He says that all of these shows that he's been watching has been letting him down, to which David answers on January 14th, 2026, saying Prestige and Gone Girl. Thought that was interesting. And then he says those two have insane, frustrating endings, to which this guy responds back, sometimes those are the best endings to a story. I really liked how Twinless ended. And then on March 28th, he messages David after being left on red, saying happy birthday to him. And David says, thank you, brother. I find it interesting that all of these people who were friends with David are starting to come out of the woodworks now.
Oh, no, they're not coming out of the woodworks. They're running out of the woodworks to say, F this guy. All right. You're welcome, Mr. Bot. That's what I'm here for. Ruby for Justice, how you doing? Good to see you. Prayers for you and your recovery. Relax, chill. You have nothing to do. I hope you have nothing to do. It's a good night to relax. It's a Tuesday. We're getting there. Yeah, life isn't easy, it's not. Life is got challenges, and the more we face our challenges, the easier things get. And then, something else will be thrown in front of us, but God never gives us more than we can handle, right? Right. Okay, let's continue. Thank you, Aries. Definitely we need justice for Celeste, and we need everybody to see what I'm sharing with you. All right, I'm going to hop into this. I'm actually going to talk about Fortnite and all the companies dropping him, and then I'll go person by person as well. So I don't really care what those messages say anymore. This guy publicly is not going to support him, I assure you. Welcome in, Aries. All right, check this out. And I've got more. This is literally just from Fortnite. After David murder charges, Fortnite is refunding his cosmetics. Now you say, Jay, what the hell does that mean, his cosmetics? Well, if you look here, David and his team, his PR team, or maybe he did. The reason David started doing music was to put the music in the video games and be able to use it, not get pulled down, to monetize it. I know you guys know that, right? Okay, so when we talk about his the dropping him for his little icons or his body skins, they do different things in different channels. They call this cosmetics. So let's say this cosmetic is a shirt, and you bought this shirt from David's shop for $3.99, and you bought David's heart for $1.99, and you paid $12 for that. Well, guess what? Fortnite is going to refund fans and give them either their money back or credit. Certain companies are doing certain things. Now, let me name some things off to you real quick, and then I'm going to read the article. Several major companies, listen, companies, collaborators, and entertainment partners cut ties with David Burke after yesterday. After the CSAM came out, and the fact that they didn't even come out as quick with the murder. It was the CSAM, that allegations and the things that were found on his phone. Now, the pattern is extremely consistent across all of the music labels, video games, brands, and individual artists, and friends and family. His brother's turning on him, and all of his friends. Now, listen to this list that he lost. He lost all of this to live his fantasy out of a cartoon, an anime cartoon that cuts someone up in the name of love. All right. This guy is absolutely ridiculous. He traded his whole life for what I'm going to show you today for these stupid little things that he's got going on. Now, he lost Interscope / Darkroom Records. They dropped him quietly before the arrest. All right. That was once police began investigating him, Interscope / Darkroom dropped him without saying a word. Sony Music is no longer affiliated with his publishing. The management team no longer affiliated. The Universal Music Group, not his label, but actively helped artists remove collaborations with David. Now, those are the music record labels. Now, if you get into video games, we've got Fortnite, which is huge, Epic Games, and we've got Madden NFL. Now, in Fortnite, they're going to issue all refunds and began removing everything related to David. All right. And Madden Football, he put a track called What Are You Waiting For from the game soundtrack. Gone. Money's gone. And I hear even his attorney is getting as much money as they can out of him because they signed David a $3 million bonus to do this upcoming tour. And guess what? The tour got pulled. So I'm telling you, speculation is that high class lawyer is going to charge him a flat fee to get started and won't be able to finish trial. It's going to be like another Corey Richins type of thing. She comes in hard with a bulldog of a lawyer, and then the bill comes, the second million, and then you need to pay the third million, and they're out because they don't work for free. So everybody is jumping ship right now. I hadn't even got to the corporate partners and the brands. This guy was affiliated with Crocs. He was in a marketing campaign getting residual income. Hollister Company also removed from all campaigns. And YouTube demonetized his entire channel, removing the partner program and anything off of, they say, Rolling Stone for anywhere, anything because of his harmful behavior. Now, quickly, artists and collaborators, you may or may not know, Cali pulled their joint track. They had a crashing song. So, and again, I don't know some of these artists because they're younger ones, but the artists and collaborators, Laffy removed This How It Feels. Holly Humberstone removed Super Blood Moon. Damiano David replaced the Tangerine with the solo version. Bryant Barnes removed the I'd Pretend. And Alyssa Lau, an Olympic figure skater, removed the soundtrack from her skating routine. Now, the kid Laro is the only major collaborator whose track with David still remains up. And it's not because he's sticking up for him, just maybe they haven't got there. So he's lost all of this along with festivals that were lined up and events, the Splendor in the Grass, Spilt Milk Festival, Spotify, and Apple Music, all gone. Every single thing that he had, any single income is gone. Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye, Mr. David. All right, now let me see what this article says here about Fortnite. Fortnite fans were wondering what Epic would do about the previous collaboration with David Anthony Burke, known as David, the musician whose cosmetics were sold in 2024 and 2025, and now we have an answer. The outcry has been due to the fact that David has now been accused of the murder of a 14-year-old girl, Celeste Rivas Hernandez, who was discovered in the trunk of a car, as we know, registered to the singer David. Guys, remember this because I'm going to show you songs that literally on the day she was killed, he talks about his car. He makes videos where he's bloody and him and his friends kill somebody and put her in the back of the trunk. I mean, everything's right under our nose. Now, eventually, David was arrested, right? We know it took almost 7 months. Her body was discovered in September 2025. A day ago, a few Fortnite users were starting to see where they're being granted refunds for the cosmetics. And it's a rarity for digital items and Epic to come out with a statement like that. So they said, we hear the concerns. We have a bunch of changes rolling out over time. And the first one will be available on Tuesday, April 28th, when anyone who purchased any of the items will get an immediate self-service refund. And right now, players who request refunds for David's Cosmetics via player support can be refunded. There's also pushbacks at the cosmetics, which includes dance emote and 2 jam tracks, are not being removed. People want them gone. All right. That's what's happening. And I guess people are complaining, and it can't happen soon enough. So, with all the collaborations over the years that he's done and everything he's built up, there have been various controversies about featured celebrities based on some scandal or another. But obviously, this situation with David is entirely in a different league or accusation of capital murder. And then now we find out about the CSAM, or what they try to call CP, right? So in the past, they've done removals, but never anything like this. All right. They talk about a guy called Rue. He was removed because of looking like a Nazi officer. Another time, Grim Medicine. I don't even know these things, but that's rare. This like doesn't happen. So for now, the case is ongoing and everybody's pulling away. And I love it. I love it for him. All right. So let's watch friend number 1, the David's girlfriend lookalike. This is literally the lookalike for Celeste that was in several videos that did collaborations, saying, F you, David, I'm out. I don't want to work with you. Okay, here we go.
Hey everyone, my name is Cassidy Clark. I was in the Here With Me music video when I was 18 years old, and I'm going to talk about it. I submitted for the job via casting networks and I got casted. It was a 12-hour shoot, very low pay, non-union job. I met David's whole family. His whole family was there because he was a minor at the time. I was 18, he was 17. And when you're a minor working on set, you have to have your one guardian present, but his whole family was there. I met his younger sister, who is probably now around the same age as Celeste would be. And he has a younger brother as well. During the shoot, I played his girlfriend, and that was that. We followed each other on Instagram just for the sake of, oh, you shot with me for 12 hours. We might as well follow each other on Instagram.
But I want you to remember that as we look through these things, there are so many Celeste Rivas Hernandez lookalikes. Everything he does, every anime that he does, doesn't matter if it's a cartoon or a video, it's always that same looking kind of girl with the big eyes and the round face and the long black curly hair. Now, this girl may not look like her now without her makeup and her hair pulled back, but I assure you, video after video after video, it's all Celeste. And it makes me wonder, because we're going to listen to that conversation again where actually this 13-year-old at the time, Celeste, is the one that introduced David to the invisible string theory. All right? That's what I want you to understand.
We honestly didn't really get along that well. I would say I'm pretty outgoing, and we just really didn't click. If anything, I felt like I was kind of bickering with him, but that's besides the point. The reason why I'm making this video is because I've gotten quite a few messages of people asking me if I have anything to do with this, if I know what's going on. And I just wanted to put an end to it. I do not associate with David by any means. I'm an actor. I literally have nothing to do with him. I did it for a job.
And I want you to see that, because a lot of you guys didn't follow him. I didn't know him. It's a totally different generation. And just because I am providing information to you is why I know about any of this. But I'm going to introduce this to you, like I said, in a way that I haven't before. So you're going to see those things. You're going to see the guy that talks about him animating that story with cutting up the girl that is in perfect parallel with what David did to Celeste. Now, in hindsight, these people are mad, sad, pissed, what have you. He literally created a storyline, put it out for the world to see via music and the videos, cartoons, let alone, and he did it right under our noses. All right. she was a lookalike that was older to disguise the real Celeste. She was also paid, so she was like in the videos or like a double. It wasn't like somebody that hung out with him.
I did it for a check. I didn't know who David was. I don't follow him on Instagram anymore. I'm going to remove him as a follower. And I think that he deserves even more than what's happening to him right now. He's a monster, and I do not associate with him by any means. I'm not making this video to make this about me. I'm making this video.
And rightfully so. Let's get to the next one, because the animator who worked with David on the music video now realizes that paralleled with what he did to Celeste Rivas Hernandez. All right. And I don't know what it was about her. So let's take a look at this. That way you guys can actually see a little bit of the kind of cartoon drawings below. So you see what I'm talking about when you guys say, is it true? Yes, this is the animator who worked with them, and it is line for line. If you watch his video, so whatever you call that, every reel for real is what he did. He chopped off an arm, a piece of it was gone. This is not the whole video, but this is the guy that helped him.
David made the story for this. The directors did it. You're seeing that David has Celeste murder storyboarded?
Right there. That's why I didn't want to. That's a way to say it. David had Celeste's murder storyboarded. I wasn't really sure how to say that because, again, I don't normally do news. Well, this isn't news, but I don't normally cover things in this way. So as the guy's talking, watch the video below. It is life imitating art, or art imitating life. I don't know. Thank you so much, Janet. Choo choo. If I missed anybody, I will come back. Oh, I did. Holly, thank you. Happy Tuesday, my friend. Good to see you. And Foxy Amazon, thank you for the Guilty of Crime membership. If you received that, please thank her. Gone Too Young Christopher. Thank you, Foxy. And Janet Rawlings, thank you. All right, watch the bottom part. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere.
Last murder storyboarded. The animator who helped David adaptate this music video.
I don't want to play his music though. I can't stand him.
Officially came out and stated this. I animated on this music video. My scenes were the first part of this edit. It's crazy looking back at it now. The animation team and directors were trying to make a cool anime music video, but now it feels dirty. Like if we were a part of his guilty confession. Celeste, you didn't deserve this. And provides a second statement saying, I also want to clarify, David made the story for this. The directors didn't. He came up with the concept and characters from what I remember. He also had an idea for the designs of the characters, which makes this feel even more evil. You're saying that David has Celeste murder storyboarded and forced the directors to animate step by step? What type of sick individual does David have to really be? Because how?
Now, when you watch this, guys, I'm hoping you're watching the bottom. It's literally a storyboard, which is how they come up with movies, right? That people will go in and do a hand sketch and animate something, and then the animation turns into real. But this one, guys, piece for piece, and I don't say that to say no pun intended. Celeste Rivas was missing part of her arms from here up and part of her legs from her joints down. Okay, there was pieces missing literally, and probably because they wouldn't all fit in that damn front trunk. Now, what did he do with those pieces? At this point, I wouldn't put it past him that he didn't cook them up and eat them. But anyhow, let's continue.
How do you have this all in your head? Storyboarded step by step. The first time you see her and fall in love? The way she seduced you? Mind you, she's a minor? You having to constantly chase her? And the other parts where he was cutting down people and he ended up cutting her down. Exactly how it happened on Celeste Rivas' autopsy.
You see this, guys? Like, I mean, you cannot make this shit up. Is this clickbait or not? And again, who saw this coming? Well, guess what? After you watch this video, everyone's going to say, I saw it coming. Why didn't you see it coming? I didn't even know about David. How could I see it coming? Anybody that did will definitely know what I'm saying, okay? Piece for piece, life imitating art or art imitating life is what happened here. When you're looking at an anime and you're seeing arms ripped off and they're showing you literally this and the exact same damage that was done to a female that was murdered and raped by him, something's demented. And he showed the world who he was. People turned him in, and yet law enforcement didn't do anything. All right. Yeah, thank you, Shadow. Thank you. Some people saw it coming from a mile away. Others had no idea he even existed. Like I didn't. I didn't know that. All right, let's get back to it. We got even his own brothers turning on him. I don't know what his parents are going to do, but we'll see.
And then the worst part, you having an alter ego that was committing all these horrific crimes, you having to fight it, and once you actually beat it, you embrace it? I cannot physically and mentally understand this psychopath's thought process. He fully thought out every single scene because he was the one who wrote the storyboard, and the animator just had to animate it because they were commissioned. David made the story for this. The directors didn't. You're seeing that they
all right, so I would just want you to understand how demented he is. Now, I've seen people ask, is he a copycat killer? I don't know where that would come from. I did see the title, but I don't understand how it would be copycat if he's the one that storyboarded this. He storyboarded it exactly the way he wanted to. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to turn the volume off just for a second, just to watch this part of the arm flying off. Exactly what was on the autopsy, and what we know is what happened to Celeste. Now, which came first? Obviously, the storyboard. Okay. Look at that in the bottom. That's what he was wearing in his video, right? I'm surprised he didn't have more curly hair. He takes that off. He's got those Freddy Krueger type of claws, which I don't know what that is. I don't watch anime, but I mean, he had all of this. He had all of this cooked up and ready to go. I don't know how they didn't see it. I want to see the arm part. Hold on. We already saw that. I just hate that they put his music. Okay, right there. Right there. All right. So I want you to realize as we go to the next thing, on that note, you see that arm that's missing? That's literally the same arm that's missing. He cut her legs and her arms off, and it was missing from a piece to a piece, like a chunk and a chunk and a chunk. All right. So that is equivalent to what he did with that. Okay. That's sick. All right. That is sick. And yeah, inspired by anime. Sure. Either way, he took the life brutally of Celeste and raped her for years. All right, next we're going piece by piece here. Let's see what his brother's saying about this. All right, sorry the screen's so big. Now, I like this because there was just one small clip, but let's talk about how his family's reacting.
David's younger brother, Caleb, seems to be calling him out about Celeste Rivas Hernandez on his social media page. After the information came out that David had illegal CP content on his phone, his brother was taking to his Instagram and he kept uploading a very interesting story, taking it down, putting it back up, taking it down, and putting it back up again. He took to his Instagram and said all PDF files should period. We also know that Caleb, his younger brother that was posting this, was also subpoenaed to the grand.
And I also want you to realize that one of the last pictures that we ever saw of Celeste, she was standing right next to David's brother. They were two peas in a pod, both underage. Okay. So I want you to understand that with his brother. His brother's pissed. His family's pissed too, I'm sure. But, parents are a little bit more supportive. All right.
Jury with his mother and father, and they ended up fighting the subpoenas, and they never ended up going to the grand jury.
Look at what he's wearing. He's got that's him on his tour with his brother wearing the shirts that David's so proud of with the blood on it. All right.
Or David was arrested. And to now hear Caleb speaking out,
look, there it is. There she is right there. That's Celeste Rivas Hernandez with David's brother.
Because if you remember, back at the Fonda Theater in 2024, somebody caught Celeste on video going backstage with Caleb. But during this time, Caleb would have still been underage. Even though David's younger brother was underage at the time of this video, he is now 18 years old. And this is the first time we have actually heard him speak out about David. It's definitely a surprising statement after we see that his parents have recently said that they
Guys, they all knew. Everybody in Lake Eleanor knew, okay? Whether you watched anime or not it has no weight on this. He brought that to music, and the people, the young children knew. Everybody, and there's 70,000 people in Lake Eleanor. That's a little bit of people. In San Jose, we have 1.5 million plus. Those 70,000 that were children all knew that Celeste Rivas Hernandez was dating David. As a matter of fact, there's a picture of David giving these young boys a bag of cash to shut their mouths about them or him dating Celeste. Even Celeste knew that he was having sex, or I can't call it that. He was raping children. She let that slip out as well. All right? You can't call it having sex because they cannot consent. That whole damn town and every friend that she knew, she bragged about it. She's like, hey, when I turn 18, he's going to marry me. He's rich. He's famous. Look at this. No, Celeste.
Support David 100%. Honestly, if this is how Caleb feels, I am here for it. And I'm actually proud of him for making a public statement like this. Because you can still love somebody and not at all support or agree with their horrible decisions. Last month, he also unfollowed David from his Instagram. And he knows that there are tons of people literally watching everyone's accounts that are connected to David. But y'all, let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments. David's younger brother.
All right. So you guys are seeing piece by piece. This guy he's losing his family. He's losing his friends. He's losing his sponsors. Check this out. This is the night that same night, David singing an unreleased song that never came out. This is the night Celeste's body was found in the trunk of his Tesla. I want you to remember somebody put the body in the Tesla, and then somebody got in the car and drove it a block or so away, 2 blocks, whatever. And he was on tour the whole time. When breaking news came out and said Celeste Rivas, they didn't say who it was. There was a body found in the trunk named to David. This kid was still on tour. Literally, he didn't even say a word about, oh, my condolences to the family. Knew him. He knows the family, and his family knows that he knows her family. Didn't say a word, but he is going to sing a song that nobody's ever heard about a car and a trunk and death, maybe? Listen up.
The first people to hear this ever, by the way. I had a heart, but it isn't mine. Where do I start? First people to hear this ever, by the way.
I had a car, but it wasn't mine. Garbage song, by the way. But this is a song that he didn't write down or tell anyone. He's literally talking about, I got a car, but it's not mine. He's garbage. I can sing better than he can, and I can't sing for shit. I mean, this is trash, but look at the lyrics.
But it isn't mine. Where do I start when you cross the line? Why do I try to keep you here with me? The first people to hear this ever, by the way.
All right, so I want you to know that that's probably not ever going to be demonetized because that song never came out and it's trash. And instead of him saying to his audience, he didn't have to pretend like he was dating her. He could have just said to the Rivas family, I send a prayer to you and my condolences. But instead, he goes on to talk about, I had a car that wasn't mine and my music sucks, so come on and arrest me on time. I don't know what, but it's trash. Millie, good to see you, my friend. Always miss you. Holly, what's the tomato? Oh, you're throwing tomato? Yeah, it's just trash. Pure trash. But again, right in front of the audience, This is what he just did in front of millions of people. And now you saw it the night Celeste was found. He was talking about having a car that wasn't his. Okay, let's continue. How many more do you think I can pull out? Quite a bit. Okay, so we're going to do this. Check this out. We're going to listen to what actually did turn into a song. Did Celeste introduce David to the invisible string theory? Listen and analyze, and then right after, I'm going to play his response that I didn't have before. All right, so let's remove this. I don't know why it keeps being that big, but hey, I did, it's all good. Okay, listen. So last time on my last episode, and Justice for Celeste Rivas, yes. I told you in the last episode that you should hear his freestyle. Oh, I'm sure. His music's garbage. All right. So this guy he's a pedo. He likes controlling younger children, obviously, and he likes probably the power and the domination. He's a little guy, too. He's a little short guy. Listen, there was a controversy about the music that he released had Celeste's real voice in there. He dubbed over. It was actually the messages or the recordings. Now, fill me in, Flojo. When we listen to this, it's making me wonder now, was this being recorded because they were investigating him? Because I was wondering, how in the F did this get recorded, the conversations between the two? Was she recording him? And then I realized they were already doing an investigation way late on before she went and disappeared. So let's listen to this. This is a recording between Celeste and David where she introduces him to the string theory, visible string theory, which comes out later on, and he tells you, okay? Yeah, nobody cares. All right, listen to this. This is Celeste talking to David. It's a little bit changed, but it's way more changed in this song because he actually uses this in the song. All right, listen up.
So I got a question.
What's the question?
Why don't you hold my hands anymore?
Oh, here we go again, bro.
Nah, I'm so serious.
Bro,
I'm so serious. Like,
all right, continue.
I haven't held your hand in like 2 years.
Sorry,
like you're
my
not
fault,
funny. I swear you're not funny.
I'm done.
All right, let me think.
About to set a time.
Oh no!
It could have been yesterday though. It could have been
yesterday. Wow, yeah. I'm glad you remember that. I'm glad.
Period.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I hate when you say period, bro. All right. I got a question for you now.
Okay.
Why do you think we met? Yeah. Why do you think we met?
Well, I think personally, have you ever heard of the invisible strength theory?
Oh yeah.
Exactly that. So basically, we met because we were supposed to meet.
Okay.
And we're connected because we're supposed to be connected. It's kind of like that, I loved you before I existed and I love you even when I die.
Word.
Yes.
Word. Okay.
But yeah, it's weird, it's strange, it's unpredictable.
Yeah.
So don't leave me. Please.
You got it.
Okay.
You got it.
All right.
All
I
right.
love you.
That is
I love you.
so creepy to hear this little girl's voice telling him this, and then I love you with no return. Now listen, the piece I was missing 2 days ago or last week when I streamed this was this. Here's his response to that recording and his song. Okay. Now at this time, nobody knew. Nobody had connected the dots. We're connecting the dots. That song or that video that I just played for you right now was used in the lyrics, and they're going to talk about it. Here's his response to that recording.
Telling my view on what the invisible string theory is, or the scarlet string, or the whatever. This is so many different names.
Is that like that? Is it also connected to like the rope that's around?
Yes.
In the
music album
video?
cover, I'm covered in this string, which is representative of the invisible string theory. But throughout the entire project, I wanted everything to feel connected. I wanted everything to feel holistic and have a through line that everybody could understand. And with the interlude, it's kind of explaining from my perspective how it was taught to me, because that's a real conversation that happened. And the irony of it was that person that was saying, I love you, she's not in my life anymore. So
Okay, I know you just heard that. I'm going to play it one more time just to say it's going to come up again later. He literally groomed her from the time she was between 11 and 12. And people are asking him, what do your song lyrics mean? What does that mean? What about the invisible string theory? And he tells us the girl in that story that said, I love you, isn't in my life anymore. Now, this is after she went missing and was dead and nobody knew about it. Controversial, my ass. This is evidence in a murder investigation is what it is. All right, we got a voice message that says exactly what's happening, and here's his response. I call that evidence for the prosecution, and I looked it up. They can absolutely use this kind of song and theory and his anime. They can use all of that in court to show what he did and how he planned. So it is not against the law in California as long as you do it right.
I view on what the invisible string theory is, or the scarlet string, or the whatever. This is so many different names.
Is that
for
like
it.
that? Is it also connected to like the rope that's around?
Yes,
in
in
the
the
music
album
video?
cover, I'm covered in this string, which is representative of the invisible string theory. But throughout the entire project, I wanted everything to feel connected. I wanted everything to feel holistic and have a through line that everybody could understand. And with the interlude, it's kind of explaining from my perspective how it was taught to me, because that's a real conversation that happened. And the irony of it was that person that was saying, I love you, she's not in my life anymore. So it's like people say that the string can't be cut and the connection cannot be severed, but I feel like it can sometimes. And that's why I wanted to put, Afterlife and all these songs that feel like endings and conclusions and goodbyes on the project to kind of solidify that message of this is the end of something, not the beginning.
And can you break down the
Do you hear what he just fucking said? Excuse my language. He said this is the end of something, not the beginning. Now, the reason that you guys might feel like it was scripted was because it was dubbed over. I assure you, in the original call, which we're going to hear later, it's not like that. He dubbed it and dubbed it over and mixed it into a song, etc., etc. That was the best one I could find. But again, when I go on and to continue on into the reporting part of it, you'll see. It was not. It was something he recorded. He didn't even, she's the one that introduced that theory. And he was like, oh, yeah, what? And then she talks about it. And then he goes on to tell the world about it. Now, at this point, she's dead and, right, she can't say anything. And he's just painting this narrative. All right. And what's up, Wolfpack? Good to see you. Rightfully so, RJ, rightfully so. He said in the afterlife, which a lot of his song lyrics said that. And he said, this is not the end. This is not the end. I mean, the beginning. This is the end. And this is literally the end of his career. I'll tell you that right now.
invisible string theory?
Yeah, so basically it's like this, it's a South Korean telling my...
All right, so he doesn't even know it. He probably looked it up after because he was like, well, he does bring up the conversation, but he certainly doesn't do much more than that. Now, I got another clip, and then we're going to get into the whole deal. So I just want you to see David is innocent. Meanwhile, every single one of Bro's videos, and I'm not going to play the music, is like this. Okay, so it wasn't just the anime that you see. It's everything he was obsessed with. He went so far as to have an incinerator in his house. Okay, so that being said, just take a look. I'm not playing music over it. This is just being condescending where it says, yeah, David's innocent. Look at every single one of his videos, bro. Look at that. Again, I'm not playing the music, but there he is with the dragging of bodies. Got it. He can't see, right? He's blindfolded. He can't see, but he's bloody. There's the knives that he used, several sharp objects, and there are his friends to put the body in the trunk. Now, Teslas don't have trunks like that. They have frunks, and they don't fit a whole body in them, okay? So, I ask you, and even when you look at the stab wounds on the girl's shirt even coincide with what the autopsy looks like. There's only 2. Let me see. Let's look at it. Let's see if I can catch one more glimpse of this. Look at her. She's not covered in blood with stab wounds. She has 2 stab wounds up top right there. It may be 3, but look, a stab wound and a stab wound with blood. So there's a possibility there's 2 or 3, but it looks very isolated. It's like there's a stab here and maybe a stab here, and the blood's dripping. Regardless, this is life imitating art and art imitating life, okay? And every video was like that again and again and again. All right. And I guessed Celeste Rivas Hernandez just happened to be the his muse. Is that what you call it? All right, let's get into it now. Let's get into, I mean, we've already been, but I wanted to see how people are dropping like flies. And then, hold on, the slip up. This is a big slip up. So we're going to start with that. Thanks to Trap Lore, not Trap More. Go sign up for all of them, all right? When she goes missing, let's talk about all this. And then after that, I'll tell you what's next. The slip up's going to be in here and everything else. You guys are going to now see it all come together. All right.
On July 29th, 2025, rising pop star David would board his tour bus to begin his Withered World Tour. But just moments before he departed on that bus, somebody allegedly moved his Tesla.
July 29th, important because that was the last day that David was in Los Angeles, right? But before he went off on his tour. So he was there in Los Angeles on that day that drive happened. How certain are you that this video of the car driving away from David's mansion is the last time it drove and ended up at the spot where it was abandoned, likely with that body inside?
I'm certain. It was left on secluded Hollywood Hills Street, and the vehicle would be left untouched for weeks, sitting out there in the summer heat. Eventually, neighbors would notice the smell, but it took a full month before anyone formally reported the vehicle. By the 5th of September, David's Tesla was impounded following multiple parking tickets and complaints.
And again, we're just going through what happened. We're getting up to it. I went through the first like 6 or 7 minutes, but I want you to realize what he has been portraying to the world is this all. It's this all along. A lot of people turned him in. I didn't even get onto Reddit today to see how many people were like, hey, I tried to say something. Nobody listened to me. All right. But I'm sure I could find that while I'm sitting here.
And then 3 days after it was towed, workers at the tow yard would notice a foul smell coming from the vehicle and contact the police. When they opened the front trunk, police would make a shocking discovery, finding the remains of Celeste in such a state of severe decay that initially they couldn't even determine her gender.
Once again, at this time, the identity of the person found in it is not known. Also, not known if the body is that of a male or a female.
And further complicating matters, early reports would suggest that the body was indeed. Within just 24 hours of the body being discovered in the Tesla, the registration would be linked back to the musician David Burke.
We begin with that breaking news. Details after a body was found inside a car at a Hollywood tow lot today. There's no immediate information about the identity of the person found inside, but Eyewitness News has learned the 2023 Tesla is registered in Hempstead, Texas to multi-platinum artist and musician David Anthony Burke, known professionally as David.
And while LA investigators worked the scene, David was mid-tour across the country. Officially, a spokesperson for David would confirm that he had been informed about the discovery and that he was cooperating fully with the police. What went overlooked at the time.
All right. Sorry about that for a second. Like I said, it's been one of those days. I'm going to count my blessings, however. All right. But I want you guys to see what happened here. And I don't know if Mama Pearl is still listening. I'm not going to be too personal, but guys, say a prayer for I call her, it's Grandma Pearl because of Baby Guilty, right? But just say a prayer for Mama Pearl. All right. She was in chat earlier. She's not now. That's all I'm gonna leave it at. And I love you, Mom, if you're listening. If not, I just texted you. All right. I don't know if you're here. Let me know when you're done. All right, let's continue. Might be from the decomp. Her eye was missing. Yeah, the eye missing might be from the decomposition because eyes do liquefy. And that's really not a big deal in the world of, autopsies and bodies. That happens. It's not something that doesn't happen. But I say that to say this. Her left eye was unaccounted for. And in one of his last videos, he was wearing this yellow anime shirt that had the head chopped off. It was just the head with one eye missing. The eye was bruised and closed, and it was missing. It was like a geisha head. And if you look closely at his actual, I can sit there and show you front, back, side. He had this yellow kind of jersey on. Maybe if Flojo's here, he'll still know what I'm talking about. And it literally replicates a woman's head with an eyeball missing, and then another rendition of what Celeste would look like if you took away some of the details and put her as like a shadow. All right. I think so. I think so. Absolutely. Leakage, foreshadowing. Thank you for the prayers. I appreciate you, Mom. Okay. All right. Well, let me know when you're headed home, or if you need anything. Just call me if you do. Love you. All right. Sorry about that, guys, but all right, let's continue. Yes, it's all disturbing, but guys, it was right in front of our eyes. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Yeah, he loves anime, and there was things that wasn't foreshadowing like on accident. He purposely was putting these things out there to mind fuck all of you, all and me and them and them. That's what he wanted to do. In his head, he knew he was getting away with the things he was getting away with right in front of us. All right, but both eyes would decay. No, that's not true, because we don't know what happened to them. We don't know if he punched her in the eye, like the picture with the bruised geisha. And also, Brend, are we using caps? Is there a reason you're using caps? Is because you can't read the board? Or let me know, because we tend to tell people not to use caps. In here we discourage that, but if you need to because you can't see, that's cool. But no, it wouldn't decay at the same rate because we don't know the damage that happened. Okay, then you're good. The mods were checking with me, and I just wanted to make sure. I don't mind I don't mind that if you like can't see and you're doing it for a reason, but I don't want everyone doing that. All right, let's continue.
Time, however, was the 97 jersey that David wore on stage that night in Minneapolis, the very same numbers as Celeste's birthday, September the 7th. Ultimately, from here, it took the police more than...
I didn't even know that one. Guys, he either was obsessed with her in a sexual way, or he was obsessed with both a sexual way and what he was going to do with her. All right. I use caps because I'm legally blind, so I don't chat. Okay, you're good. I mean, you could chat. You're telling us you can't see, so I'm probably legally blind too, Rhonda. I can't see anything without my glasses or my shades. So, all right, we're good. You do what you're doing. No, I'm not asking you to stop typing, Bren. I'm asking you if you do that because you need to for vision. So continue what you're doing and keep typing. I just wanted to check in and make sure that everything was cool. We're good. Let's continue. Celeste's brother was... Guys, Maggie and everybody went to the police. Yes, Celeste's brother. Celeste's family reported her missing multiple times. Every time she would run away, she'd end up back at David's. But the last time she ran away, she never came back. Right? And then it kicked this whole thing off. Big hugs, love to everyone, and to you, and to Bren. We have no problem with that. With caps, as long as you're just because you need it, not because you're just trying to clog it up. All right, let's continue. Enough about that.
A week to officially identify the body. However, even before they had their answer, chilling details were already spreading across sites like Reddit. In one post, one user claimed that a 7th grade runaway from Lake Elsinore had apparently been living with David but hadn't been heard from in months. Meanwhile, another post labeled David a predator, claiming that he was apparently dating an 8th grader named C and had been paying off her friends to keep it secret.
Now think of that, an 8th grader, and he was paying off friends, allegedly these kids, and they have pictures. They took pictures while he was doing it. All right. They definitely they absolutely knew she was with him, and so did the brother. All right. Celeste had no chance. I know. That's what I'm trying to understand, Miss Dizzle. Did he fixate on her because he knew ultimately that was going to be the person that is going to be with him forever? Because she will be with him forever now, guys. And yes, he was paying allegedly Celeste's family. We don't have transactions, but I'm looking into that because there's a lot of people saying that.
Ultimately, the truth came out on September the 16th when police identified the body as 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez from Lake Elsinore.
In Lake Elsinore, that teenager, her name Celeste Rivas, she was 13 years old when she was last seen leaving this home back in April of 2024. TMZ broke the girl's identification after speaking to her mother.
It was a very heart-wrenching conversation. She was very upset and said that she All she knew is that, her daughter had been missing all of this time. She told us that she was aware that there was a boyfriend named David.
And that her daughter had a tattoo with the letters "shh" on her right index finger.
That the color of the ink of that tattoo was red, which was something that police had not released to the public.
Right after that news broke, David would pull the plug on his remaining tour dates.
The LAPD is not calling the death criminal, saying in a statement that at this time, the agency does not have a...
Oh, I had to pause on this, guys. This is how the case started off. All right. And thank you so much, Cat's Meow. You made me smile. Thank you. And it's because that cat is so damn freaking cute. I hope that's your cat, because that cat is straight chilling. He's on the couch with his arm kicked up and his belly like he just ate. I love fat cats. So thank you for the 5 Guilty of Crime memberships. If you received a membership, please thank Cat's Meow. All right. And let's see what else we got. Gigi says everyone knew David was blackmailed by all of those that knew of his crime. Well, this is what I'm trying to show you guys even today. The whole world saw all of this that I'm showing you. It was all there and more, right? And more. So let's continue. Make sure I didn't miss anything. And we're moving on. I do not believe anything from TMZ. Well, TMZ, it has a special source, but I don't know that. I mean, this isn't from TMZ. So you take it with a grain of salt. All of this right now is speculation. Everything that I'm saying to you guys, although it's visually there and it was physically written and it was done in the videos, I'm all just speculating that this wasn't some big coincidence, okay? So let's keep going.
Crime classification from the coroner as to the mode or manner of death. Thus, we do not have any suspect information at this time.
And right now, police have not said if they believe the singer David knew or ever had contact with the victim. We are just learning that his show scheduled for tonight in Seattle has now been canceled.
With all of this going on, as police were executing search warrants at his Hollywood Hills home, all while people online would follow along and piece together a disturbing timeline of abuse. According to alleged former Fortnite teammates, David actually met Celeste through playing Fortnite online in 2021, and she was apparently only 10, and he would later add her to his private Discord.
All right, now there's a lot of people that go back and forth where they say she was 11, about to be 12. All right, now this is Trap Lore, not Trap More. Same creator, but has 2 different channels or 3 different channels. So either way, guys, she was either 11 or 12. He says 10, so anywhere between 10, 11, and 12. Doing this, which could happen to any one of your kids, my kids, grandchildren. He was getting her, like everybody else does, from the Fortnite game and pulling her off into Discord. Like we saw in other cases in Florida, we saw those chomos doing that, bringing the little boys from their video games to Discord to do sexual things with each other. All right. David not doing the dumb spelling, right? Hey. All right.
More disturbingly, that same person would recall Celeste dropping hints about the which the friend group apparently just brushed off as edgy humor. But within that Discord group, thousands of messages from 2021 would suggest that David's illegal relationship was basically an open secret in certain groups. But as David's fame grew, so did the red flags. And after signing with Interscope Records, fresh off the heels of his questionably titled hit song Romantic Homicide, a very strange pattern of coincidences begun to emerge.
In the back of my mind, I killed you.
That's garbage, by the way, and you could see how much younger he is there. That's like right when he started off. But yes, Rhonda, I see you now. All right, with the cat eating like a human. All right, let's continue this. I mean, it was all for the public to see. Can you imagine getting selected to be on a jury for this? Here's the thing is, no, I couldn't, but nobody even knew who David was. So the people are asking, how are they going to have a trial? Guys, this guy wasn't that popular. He only got popular by just some fluke thing happened and they picked him up. This is not somebody, I didn't even know who the hell this even was. I did not know his bad music existed until he allegedly committed this crime. So let's listen to how he says, I love you. It's terrible. Right.
red flags. And after signing with Interscope Records, fresh off the heels of his questionably titled hit song Romantic Homicide, a very strange pattern of coincidences begun to emerge.
In the back of my mind, I killed you, and I didn't even regret it. I can't believe I said it, but it's true.
That's garbage. What in the hell? Now, again, I wish there was a date on this. Maybe Flojo, maybe these people that, because Flojo and others are like covering this case down to the micro dot. But what in the hell is this? I hadn't heard of him either, but why did he get so cocky so fast?
I hate you.
It's really more of a figurative I killed you, especially in the back of my mind. I try to stress that in the back of my mind. That's why I say it so loud. In the back of my mind, you died. In the back of my mind, I killed you. So it's all in the mind because that's the...
He says it all in the back of his mind, guys. Everything shows blood and he's obsessed with it, but it's in the back of his mind, people, okay? All the people watching, it's in the back of his mind. He did not dismember someone. He did not take different body parts. He did not do any of that. It's just in his mind, okay? All right. Wolfpack says, wouldn't want to call me for jury selection. I'd straight up tell him he's guilty AF and his voice sucks. That's right. He does look a lot different. This is when he's first starting out, guys. All right, let's continue.
The most secure place you can be is in your mind.
Crucially, the music video for David's Romantic Homicide would drop on September the 7th, the very same day as Celeste's birthday. Even more unsettling was the video itself, which depicted David murdering a girl who looked eerily similar to Celeste. And over the next several years, David repeatedly hired actresses who were doppelgangers for the young girl. At the same time, he would frequently time his song launches to coincide with her birthdays. Eventually, his career would take him from Texas to Los Angeles in early 2023, and then suddenly David was living within a short driving distance of Celeste Lake Elsinore. Soon after this, her family's missing persons report began to align perfectly with the dates that she began appearing in photos with the singer. However, what made matters worse was that the network surrounding David had allegedly supported their...
Isn't that a trip? So if you look everywhere else and all the other things that you just all you have to do is go through social media, although it's been scrubbed as of now. Look at that. Look who's missing. No Celeste, but there's Asia. There's the lookalike. And Asia, guys, in my mind, and in my opinion, Asia, she's a two-faced person that just wanted the clout. She knew what was happening. She knew Celeste was way too young. She knew Celeste was being drugged up and God knows what else. And the only reason she ever even came out to say anything, by the way, there's Neo, who also turned his back. It's because they're just two-faced people that were trying to get to the top. These people do not love David. They don't care about him. Nobody's sending him commissary. None of these people give two shits about him. His money's gone. Peace.
Relationship. From here, online sleuths would dig deeper into the timeline, uncovering evidence that suggested that David's inner circle may well have known about Celeste all along. Dating back to February 2024, messages would show David's friend Asia Collins discussing the missing person.
What do you mean she was there? In that? Oh, you mean she wasn't in the picture, though? Did I miss something? She just wasn't in the picture. I don't see. That is a little kid. There's no Celeste in any of these. That's not Celeste. That's not Celeste. That's not Celeste. So she was there. I realize that. She was at the scene, but they didn't let the pictures come out with her on it, if that's what you're saying. All right, let's continue. And then we've got more spotting Celeste. Bro, this is my girlfriend's girlfriend. Is there a way you can confirm she's 13? What? You're lying. I mean, people knew about it. This is BS.
Back to February 2024, messages would show David's friend Asia Collins discussing the missing persons poster with Celeste's cousin, specifically being told that Celeste was 13 years old at the time. During this exchange, Asia identified the girl on the flyer as David's girlfriend. By June 2024, photos from David's sold-out show at the Fonda Theatre appeared to show the victim Celeste in the VIP section near Josh Marshall, the CEO of Mogul Vision, David's management company. In those same images, Celeste also appears to be seated between David's mother and brother, showing that even the family were aware.
Yes, that's what I wanted to tell you guys. Like, it wasn't just the brother that knew about it. It was the family. The dad, the mom, they all knew that she was underage, guys. And when she talks, when we ever saw her, you can tell she literally moves like a child would. All right? I know his voice sucks bad. It's terrible. All right, let's continue. Yeah, she's there. And now I wanted to emphasize the point that David's family, they all knew it. Every one of them. And so did Celeste.
Of David's connection with her, and beyond the VIP section, another video would capture Celeste walking backstage alongside David's own brother. But despite her constant presence, Celeste wouldn't be found in any of the official event photography, which would lead me to believe, in my opinion, was that she was very much someone that was kept around, but also kept a secret and out of the way of the cameras. And while those earlier sightings showed just how deeply David had affected Celeste's world, what would come next would be a series of hints that appeared to reveal exactly why and how he planned to end Celeste's life.
All right, let's continue. Again, when you see this little girl, guys, she's a little girl. She wasn't much older than this. You know how fast kids grow, right? In this picture, I'm going to say she was probably 10 years old, going on to 11. And then between 11 and 12 is when she met David. She's a baby. That's a little girl right there, right? And he either targeted her for everything, and he had in his mind what he wanted to do. He was obsessed with her, in my opinion.
Authorities would say very little, but while the police were quiet, online communities, reporters, and private investigators like Steve Fisher would begin piecing the story together themselves. Once David was eventually arrested, the criminal complaint, autopsy findings, and private photos would finally start filling in the gaps as to exactly what had gone down between this couple. By the summer of 2024, photos would appear to show David and Celeste together in public, with Celeste wearing what looked like an engagement ring with a David tattoo on her finger. Around that same time, David would also appear with a tattoo on his finger that read "Shush," apparently matching one found on Celeste's body, and clearly a reference to whatever they had going on being a dark secret. Soon after this, videos and photos would circulate suggesting that Celeste had actually been staying in a house near David's own Beverly Hills mansion.
Why are you doing this,
Another secret property where the two would one night make the inexplicable decision to go on a live stream together.
I media trained you. That's controversial.
It's controversial of kids.
Really good.
Okay,
It's been a
No, she knew at some point. Don't worry, guys, I got it. I'm on top of it. I'm over here, and it's been one of those days. I'm not playing around with people today. It's not okay. Yeah, bye, literally. Like, I don't play that shit here, right? We don't bully people. We don't talk crap. If you don't like them, you block them. All right, bye-bye. And not to Felicia either. And I accidentally timed out Renee, totally on accident. I don't know how to fix it right now. So I'll have to get to it after that. Yeah, bye-bye, Barbie. Let's continue. I still have stuff to do tonight, and I have a plumber coming, blah, 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 blah.
good one. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Mwah, 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 mwah. Oh my. Delete everything. Delete everything. Everything goes.
Then, by early September of 2024, despite reportedly being a missing person, Celeste would seemingly go home, where she was captured on a neighbor's Nest camera outside of her family home the day after her birthday. But
No, it's literally, that's just my opinion, Lolly. Low key, he literally sucks. I hate his music. And I could say that whether he was a pedo or a murderer, his music sucks, in my opinion. Maybe I'm just too old, right? He's 20, I'm 46. Maybe I just don't like that generation of music. In my opinion, he sucks, whether he did what he did or not. I don't like it. And yeah, delete everything. Delete everything. All right, yeah, don't worry about it, Deb. We don't feed the trolls. If you feed the trolls, then guess what? They keep coming back. No feeding the trolls, right, Felicia? Bye, Felicia. Yeah. It's like you don't feed if you got animals or rodents coming into your house, you don't give them food so they can keep coming back. You give those motherfuckers poison and they just go off and die. All right, let's continue. I'm not in the mood today for that.
by early December, the story would take another dark turn. Messages later released by someone close to Celeste would claim that David had deleted all photos of the two of them from social media, while Celeste allegedly said that the relationship was over. But just weeks later, David would be photographed back in Lake Elsinore, less than a mile from Celeste's family home, apparently handing money to a teenager.
And they're not dumb. They recorded all of it, guys. Everybody was warning the adults and anybody that would listen, and they didn't listen. And I don't know why. I still can't figure out if it's because she was, she's this Hispanic kid that didn't have much money. Her parents barely speak English. That's why the brother's so involved, because he got the translator. Why did it get this far? We see all of this, but it still kept going. Her parents went multiple times to law enforcement and kept turning her in for running away, and yet she still ended up dismembered in a trunk by the guy that millions of people are watching. I can't comprehend it.
In a moment that some saw as an extortion attempt, while others described as an effort of David to buy silence from the local teenagers that knew about the relationship. Then, as 2024 came to a close, private investigator Steve Fisher, who was hired by the owner of the property David was living in when this murder happened, would claim that David would actually be seen together with Celeste once again in photos that he found in David's home. These photos would allegedly place them in downtown Los Angeles, and one image would show David holding a knife. Then the next night, more images were taken that appeared to show Celeste around David and his friends on New Year's Eve. After that, the trail led to a camp in the Angeles National Forest before ending in Baldwin Hills in what became one of...
Now, listen, it's hard to really say why or what the parents did. I do have sympathy for Celeste Rivas Hernandez family, and I don't think at this point it would do anything to charge them, to lock them up for a few years, to take away from the other kids. I gotta sympathize and empathize with them, and I gotta think that they did their best to try to keep her at home, and she just wouldn't do it, guys. She wouldn't go to school. She kept running away. What's more powerful, money and drugs and David's love that she thinks, or her parents telling her no? All right, yes, groomed her at freaking 10, but they did at least get the investigation ball rolling. So I'm going to give them sympathy because they are her parents and they are victims too. They're going to live with this forever. Scud missiles, ever. This is never going to go away. They're going to know that they didn't try that one time or the two times, or they should have done this. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. She's not coming back. All right.
the last publicly released photos of Celeste alive. In hindsight,
And look at that. It bothers me that she's wearing this hoodie with all these like rips in it. I feel like David was obsessed with cutting and knives and things. And they do show the little, what I told you was a cottage. He had a second little cottage house away from the mansion so him and Celeste could do whatever they wanted. All right.
this period of a few days in remote locations would strike many people as something much more suspicious than just a fun outing to the woods. But from there, things would only get worse as David kept on releasing new music into 2025 after the last known pictures of Celeste alive were taken. The video for the track One More Dance, which is a song that David said was all about having one more dance with somebody before they leave you forever, creating even more suspicion amongst followers. And in the music video, David appears in a blood-covered shirt, dragging a body to a trunk with the help of two other people before the figure is eventually buried alongside a camera. By the following month, the gap between David's public rollout and Celeste's eventual murder was starting to look suspiciously coincidental.
Yeah, people didn't start seeing that until the whole community started turning their back against him and cutting him out, publicly making a statement that they don't support him. Now, I don't know about an $800 Givenchy hoodie. David was handing out money because he had no structure and he was way too young to even have, he needed more boundaries and restrictions, in my opinion. At that age with that amount of money comes consequences, guys. All right. Well, I read that they don't like it. I'm testing it. Wait, what? Okay, let's continue.
He would announce that his Withered album would be dropping on April the 25th, 2025, which is just 2 days after the date that prosecutors claimed that Celeste was murdered. And so over this period of time...
Now, I gotta tell you guys something, and I'm sure I've said it before. This has gotta be the reasoning why he had to wait to cut up her body. And I say he waited, and he more than likely basked in the joy and glory of being able to do it. So her life was taken April 23rd, and she allegedly wasn't dismembered for at least a couple of weeks. Now, he could have had somebody just go get rid of the body anywhere, but no. He needed to go do his tour and then get back to a place where he's able to cut her body up and make it a thing, in my opinion. All right. I absolutely feel bad for Celeste. All the adults did fail her. But at this point, I just don't see what it would do to charge the parents. Let's get David and then we'll look. Yeah, David's dad preaches. He's a preacher and he knew what was going on. Damn, man. This is what happens when you get too much, too fast, And then you got this dark mind and this kid. And who knows, maybe his mind wasn't as dark as it could have been previously. But then you start getting into drugs, guys, and you're inviting the devil into your world. Now he's got the devil into his world with any amount of money and all kinds of power. And that's what he decides to do. That.
David would continue promoting his project and himself, particularly posting a lot of things that featured the Hello Kitty characters, something that is now deeply unsettling when you know that Hello Kitty was one of Celeste's favorite brands. But it wasn't just David. Around the start of March, one of his acquaintances, TikToker Chase Keith, would upload a short film called Buzzkill about a dinner date that turns into a murder and dismemberment. And right from the opening shots, the film would show Chase Keith dragging a body in a black bag to a plastic-covered room where it would be dismembered with a knife, including close-ups of the fingers being cut off, a scene that would apparently be eerily...
You hear that? Okay, now I know Dexter does that. Dexter's patented that idea for the last 20 years. We all used to watch Dexter, and we know he would do that. He'd put the like clean room looking thing anywhere possible, cut up the body. Yes, everything that he was doing, he was imitating the art that he put out there for the audience. So when I say who saw this coming, I'm asking you, who saw this coming? Who that knew him saw this coming? They are charging him as premeditated. Even worse, they're calling that charge lying in wait, which is even worse than premeditated. All right.
Similar to Celeste's own dismemberment, with even her fingers being cut off too. But not long after this, there would be more clues that Celeste would be out the picture.
Okay, there's that cottage. Look at this. He was paying $20,000 for that mansion where he parked the Tesla and they found her remains. And he also had this house that he was calling a cottage that he would take Celeste, and who knows what he was doing. This cottage, oh, it was only $8,250 a month on top of the other $20,000. No problem. No
Lease
problem.
on the Doheny Drive property where she was allegedly staying was suddenly terminated, and after that, her whereabouts became impossible to track. Even so, signs of Celeste still appeared around David, including a handbag matching one she'd been seen with before, popping up in the background of one of David's TikToks. Meanwhile, in the lead up to the alleged murder, David was still moving through public life as if nothing had happened. He performed and attended at Coachella alongside several of his friends while his album rollout continued in full view. And then came the day of the alleged murder, April 23rd.
Like I said, Asia's a two-faced, in my opinion. All right. Asia was there living it up every second. She knew that David was raping minors, and she's already flipped on him, guys. I rumor has it that she is not even in the country right now. All right. Him crying. Yeah. And him crying during the performance also makes you think. Now, I don't think he regretted it. I think he just wanted to feel something and put on a presence on the stage. I really don't think that he regretted it at all. I think he loved exactly what he did, and I think he would do it again if he had the opportunity to. Period. All right, April 23rd, 2025 is the day that she was allegedly bombarded, bum rushed. He lied in wait for her to, in fact, what they call stab her to death.
2025. According to the charging document, that was the very day that prosecutors say that David lured Celeste to his Hollywood Hills home and murdered her.
On April 23rd, 2025, has been alleged by the complaint, Celeste, a 14-year-old at that time, went to Mr. Burke's house in the Hollywood Hills. She was never heard from again.
Behind the closed doors of his mansion, the rising star allegedly faced a difficult choice between his skyrocketing career as a pop singer and the 14-year-old girl who could end his life if she decided to speak out against him.
Special circumstance being that this murder was committed for financial gain. As the evidence will show in court, the financial gain was for Mr. Burke to maintain his very lucrative musical career that Celeste was threatening on that particular night.
Now, you see, I'm going to tell you that piece of evidence that he's talking about, this prosecutor, or I'm not sure if that's a prosecutor or what, his name's not down there, but the guy giving the press, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong about that. He's telling us what happened through the evidence that they have. Now, I'm going to tell you that the prosecutors probably were playing poker, and in their poker game with David, they saw his poker face, they saw the defense's poker face, and they thought, well, once we come and arrest him and we put down these charges that are some of the hardest charges in California that you can do, he's going to sign his right to a speedy trial away, and we're going to have years to keep on going through the evidence. No, 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 my friends. He's playing poker back. You want to call it poker face or you want to call it chess? Okay, that's the DA. The DA is the one that ended up ordering the arrest, and the arrest, he wasn't even indicted or any of that yet. They had to have 3 grand juries. None of them were grand juries that can indict. They were just probative grand juries. That's how much evidence I believe they have. Okay, so let's continue. I saw some $2 bills in there too. Well, like I said, his lawyer's going to take that $3 million, probably do as much as she can, and then he's going to run out of money and have to have another attorney. Unless after they go to the preliminary hearing or the preliminary, and then let's say the trial starts in 2 or 3 months, he's going to run out of money at some point if they don't hurry. But that's what his strategy is. David, the defense is you're the prosecution, you prove it. He doesn't have to say anything. He doesn't have to call one single witness. All he has to do is watch the prosecution and the DA put on a show, and then they can rest their case and done. Jury can go back and say, well, I can't say with a reasonable doubt that blah, 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 whatever.
Allegedly driven by the belief that Celeste would expose his illegal relationship with a
is murdering a witness to an investigation. In this particular case, as the evidence will come out in court, the witness to the investigation was Celeste, and the investigation was into the lewd and lascivious sexual acts committed by Mr. Burke with Celeste while she was under 14 years old.
David reportedly used a sharp object after luring her to the property, inflicting multiple wounds to her torso, including a fatal strike to her liver. So if the prosecution's timeline is correct, then the days immediately after April 23rd only make David look more deranged, because while prosecutors...
No, guys, I do not see, unless David has an epiphany and his expensive lawyer tells him, listen, you're just wasting your time here. I'm going to tell you right now, you've got the death penalty on the line, and they're offering life without the possibility of parole. This will go to court, Ruby. David has not waived his right to a speedy trial, which gives them 60 days after they present the evidence. They give the evidence to the defense. The defense has none of the discovery at this point. The defense doesn't know ish. They know nothing. Right now, all they know is they're playing poker, and they're waiting for that side to give them a card. That's it. That's all. All right. I still say she want to go on tour with them. I agree with that. But they have text messages saying that she was to probably like, hey, I want to go on tour with you. And he's like, no, I'm not having it. And she, said, hey, I'm going to turn you in for all the stuff you did to me. And what about those other girls underage that are on tour? Whatever. All right. Now, that's all going to come out. It's all going to come out. True. And what are you doing using caps? Come on, Foxy, get it together.
alleged that Celeste had arrived at David's rented Hollywood Hills home that evening and was never heard from again. After her life ended, David's public life would appear to move forward as if nothing had happened. The very same day, he was back to promoting his career, announcing the pre-sale for his Withered World Tour. Then, the day after the alleged murder, on April the 24th, his management held a Withered album release party in Los Angeles that David attended in person. The very next day, just as planned months earlier, the Withered album would officially drop, with David popping out in New York just 2 days after the alleged murder, meeting fans, taking group photos.
All right, guys, you know I don't want to stop anything, and I hope you guys still stay here. We have 280 people in chat. If you can give me like about 3 minutes, I'm gonna press play, and then I've got the plumber here. I didn't know I had a water leak, guys, and the water leak's costing me $1,200. It's dumping thousands of gallons a minute, and we don't want the water to waste. So let me press play, and I got to get them to stop the leak. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm going to hit play.
Photos and performing in public. It would be there that he debuted the track Afterlife live for the first time, and during that performance, David visibly broke down crying in the middle of the song and couldn't finish it. On its own, that might have just looked like another emotional moment from an emo singer during a high-pressure album week, but perhaps most disturbingly of all, several tracks on the Withered album featured what many believe to be recordings of Celeste's own voice.
Yeah, why do you think we met?
Well, I think personally, have you ever heard of the invisible strength theory?
Oh yeah.
Exactly that. So basically, we met because we were supposed to meet.
Okay.
And we're connected because we're supposed to be connected. It's kind of like that, I loved you before I existed and I'll love you even when I die. Yes.
Okay.
But yeah, it's weird, it's strange, it's unpredictable.
Yeah.
So don't leave me.
Then, less than a week after the alleged killing, David would be seen in interviews discussing how the person who introduced him to the invisible string theory that Celeste talks about on the skit was no longer in his life anymore.
It's kind of explaining from my perspective how it was taught to me, because that's a real conversation that happened. And the irony of it was that person that was saying, I love you, she's not in my life anymore. So it's like people say that the string can't be cut and the connection cannot be severed, but I feel like it can sometimes. And that's why I wanted to put, Afterlife and all these songs that feel like endings and conclusions and goodbyes on the project to kind of solidify that message of this is the end of something, not the beginning.
From here, David would continue to subtly drop hints about the end of his relationship during other interviews.
It was just the most beautiful thing. And it's such a poetic thing to kind of be able to kind of take somebody's life and put that in a song.
But in the lead up to the alleged dismemberment, which happened over a week after the alleged murder, something else was happening in the very same Discord server that David had once invited Celeste into. According to Discord logs, David repeatedly spammed the word decay in the chat, and by May the 5th, 2025, this was the date prosecutors alleged that Celeste's body was actually cut and dismembered. The itself was described as bilateral, with both her arms and legs being systemically severed from her torso before being packed into 2 trash bags that were also found in the Tesla's front trunk. According to the unsealed findings, investigators discovered multiple blue plastic fragments embedded directly into the surfaces of Celeste's limbs, with forensic experts suggesting that these fragments likely came from the tool that was used to carry out the dismemberment or the surface she was placed on during the act, with some speculating on Reddit that they would recognize this blue plastic residue as likely the result of a 3D printed saw. But beyond the of the limbs, there were even more heartbreaking details, as it would turn out that Celeste's left ring and pinky fingers were also found to have been removed or mutilated. The left ring finger being the very same one that Celeste apparently had the David tattoo on, and to make matters even more spooky, when her body was discovered, apparently her left eye was missing. Immediately after the alleged dismemberment, another account in David's Discord began posting strange messages, including one that read, "Let us remember who you deceased." Perhaps the most haunting aspect of the entire timeline is the imagery that David chose for his very last final live performances. David's Withered tour featured haunting and unsettling themes of death and remembrance, including real-life caskets being brought out and guest books that led many fans to feel like the whole event resembled a wake or a funeral or some kind of afterlife ritual than a standard concert. Just 2 days before Celeste's body was discovered in David's Tesla on what would have been her 15th birthday, that was the day that David announced the deluxe edition of his Withered album, which he was titling Marcescence. This meant that while Celeste was allegedly decomposing in the front trunk of his Tesla, David was just getting on with his life, leaving behind clues and naming his next album specifically after a word that refers to decay and decomposition.
A phenomenon known as marquescence. Ooh, marquescence. Doesn't that sound lovely? But anyway, what marquescence is, it's the withering and retention of plant organs that are typically dropped.
For 7 months after Celeste's remains were found in his Tesla, David Burke remained a free man.
All of our neighbors were kind of on a group chat, and we were like, this was kind of scary that we've been living around the corner from an accused murderer.
One neighbor actually told me that he's relieved that there was an arrest because he said that there have often been parties at his home. I asked if he's heard parties here recently. He said it's an ongoing problem. Either way, on Monday, we're expected to get our first look at David as he's expected in court in.
It's just one of them days, right? All right, I'm back. We'll see how long this lasts. I'm so glad you're still here. We still have 267 people. Nobody said you have to like her, but don't be disrespectful. Exactly. Nobody has to like anybody, Tracy. Just be cool, because guilty of crime, we're cool. Well, I'm a troll and a bully, but y'all called me a cunt and a twat waffle. Well, alrighty then, the horror whore. I love horror, by the way. It's too bad that you're a troll. Damn it. The trolls knew I walked away for a second off.
And watching his back was an expert legal team that would insist that the case against him was non-existent. However, on the afternoon of April the 16th, 2026, David would get his last taste of freedom. The police would arrive to another property that he was apparently renting in Hollywood.
Look, it's gonna obscure my view from the gate. It's good.
If you try to run, you're gonna clean out on premises and you will get bit.
I got you. All right, so the gate is locked. Do I open the gate? Sir, open the gate.
And within minutes, the 21-year-old was placed in handcuffs as a specialized task force began a meticulous sweep of the residence.
The 21-year-old taken into custody at a home in the Hollywood Hills. The California Post also releasing this footage showing off.
And I must have missed the whole scene, didn't I? I missed the scene where he went over the invisible string. Did you guys hear the invisible string call with Celeste? And not only with Celeste, but it was her actual like voicemail. All right. Hold on, let me. Okay, I'm still trying to juggle stuff. All right, you guys. Okay, you heard that. There we go. So we talked about it earlier. I didn't want to mess up the flow of this. All right.
Officers in tactical gear handcuffing David before putting him inside a patrol vehicle.
By April the 20th, the district attorney's office would formally charge David with first-degree murder involving 3 special circumstances: lying in wait, murder for financial gain, and the murder of a witness.
The murder was a way for David Burke to keep Celeste Rivas quiet. That they are saying that because she was about at a time when he was beginning a world tour, when his fame was going up, he was doing interviews on media really around the world, but here in the U.S., his music was getting tens of millions of streams on Spotify and elsewhere, that he was on his way up and that he wanted to keep her quiet and not reveal a relationship that had been going on between.
Now, again, law enforcement's got to have the records to prove these charges. These are pretty big charges. They're hefty for California. And the storyline that law enforcement is giving us is coming from probably, well, they've said digital evidence, any of the phone records, which is digital evidence, right? Recordings. You guys heard the recording between Celeste and David, like the real recording that wasn't dubbed, right? And then you see him answering to that. And so all of us know that he's talking about an 11, 12, or 13-year-old girl that's no longer with him. All right. I don't think that he realized the gravity of this and how fast it was going to spin out of control. All right. Discord message. I think I might have read it, but I'm intrigued. I don't know what it said. I'm trying to figure out which one.
The 2 of them when she was underage, under 14 years old.
In addition to the murder charge, the indictment included counts of continuous essay of a minor and the unlawful mutilation of a human's remains. During his initial court appearance, David's defense team entered a plea of not guilty on all charges.
The actual evidence will show David Burke did not murder Celeste Rivas Hernandez, nor was he the cause of her death. And we would like to be.
It makes me wonder what they're going to say was the cause of death, right? And again, this is the defense. This is the defense that has no discovery, nothing. They don't know what cards that the district attorney or the prosecutor has. So they're just going off of whatever David's telling them, and then obviously their theory. What's up, Jules? Or Julie's, whatever.
Able to have the evidence come into the light of day at the earliest opportunity in order to establish that.
But given the severity of the allegations, the judge would deny him bail, ensuring that he remains safely locked behind bars where he belongs. Currently, the case is moving towards a preliminary hearing where prosecutors are expected to present the smoking gun evidence, including forensic fragments found in the autopsy report and over 40 terabytes of digital evidence.
Today, prosecutors in court presented new disturbing evidence regarding child.
David Anthony Burke appeared in court in an orange jumpsuit, described as stoic, slumped in a chair, looking directly at the judge and mumbling the single word, yeah, when asked if he agreed to a specific date. The 21-year-old accused of killing their 14-year-old possessed a, quote, significant amount of child images on an iCloud account that belonged to him.
Now, guys, you keep this in mind. Nobody knew any of this. Nobody knew any of this. This is a completely separate case from the CSAM. All right. Now, so I want to tell you there's two options. Either the prosecutor is going to add charges to this already existing terrible case, or he's going to have a whole other trial for a mass load of CSAM. All right. Yeah. Very dangerous dude. No joke. But nobody would think that, though, right? What pushed this guy to do that? Or was he just, I mean, was it something that he just always wanted to do? And now that he, got rich, he's like, hey, I could do whatever I want. I don't know. Let's continue, though. I got some of the new allegations against other minor, and then I'll show you a few Reddit things and we'll wrap it up. Hopefully my, the plumber guy comes in and fixes that. I hate when that happens. Oh, okay. I'm good. All right, new allegations involving David that just came out today, this morning. It's about 8 minutes. I want to talk about that because this could be a whole separate trial. I don't know that they're going to keep these two things together. It's something to do with his anime. Well, yeah, that's everything. Everything has to do with the anime. That's a connection that we're making now, right? In hindsight, it's 2020. But it was all out for the whole world to see, guys. What the hell?
Actually, we start with David or D4vd. It's really hard for me to just call him David when he spells his name that way.
I know. I feel like we should have a different way to say it because it's
I know
David, but D4 yeah, it's difficult. I'm sure jury will just have a blast with that one. Yeah, the latest on him, it's not good. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I think David with the 4 is toast. The latest is that he has apparently had another relationship with another minor, and this is a problem because relationships with minors are really easy.
That's a problem, guys. And I do want to show you something. I'm not doing it. They're doing the main thing. I had a leak. I didn't realize it could leak that hard. When a toilet handle just doesn't go all the way and it leaks and leaks and leaks. Well, the last 4 months it leaked and leaked and leaked, and it cost $1,200. So now he's fixing that. I don't know what to do. He's going to take care of it, but let's just hope it gets taken care of today. All right, CB, how you doing? Good to see you. Look, I want to show you something real quick. I want to show you that thing that he was wearing on Reddit real quick because I don't want to be like squirrel and then just not be able to show you. All right. I'm multitasking. Okay. So I don't know if you guys can see that or how well, but they're asking on these pictures. They're like, what the hell is David wearing? Look at the shirt. It's some kind of anime thing that is associated with, I don't know. It looks like he sewed that on top of it. I don't know if he bought it that way, but people are speculating that face on there is like a dead person with one eye missing. They say, what about him wearing the shirt at Coachella? What the hell? So I just wanted you guys to take a look. And then this, people say it looks like Celeste. They've got the covered eyes and things. I don't know. There's a controversy about this, guys. And it's kind of blurry, but if you look back and like close one eye, it looks like Celeste dead with only one eye, with one eye closed and then the other eye missing. There's just too many. The Laughing Geisha. Okay. So that's what it is. The Laughing Geisha clothing brand. People are saying in hindsight now, what the hell was he wearing? What was he so caught up for? Kept bragging about his credit. He did keep bragging about what he was doing. I mean, he was right in front of all of us. I mean, the hidden in plain sight, right? Let's go back. Let me see if I can. No, you're good. Hold on. Let me just press play real quick, and all right, guys, let me put this back up so you can see the new charges, and then I will, let's see, new allegation. So now it's either a new trial or they're going to give new charges.
Easy for the state to prove,
Right,
and they carry a lot of prison time. And so I think this is going to be a problem. I think it also could come in as what we call similar transactions or other bad acts. But what we've heard, just to catch our listeners up, is Steve, who we've actually had on this show before, Steve Fisher. He is a PI, a private investigator, who was hired by David's former landlords. And he recently said during his investigation that he has proof that Celeste was not the singer David's first inappropriate relationship with a minor. He said not only did he have that proof, but that there's photographic evidence, and also that he turned that over to the authorities. So I think that's not a good sign for Mr. David.
No, and look, it's just getting worse almost by the day for David. And we learned last week it was supposed to be, a preliminary hearing, which happens really quickly in California. We're supposed to have a preliminary hearing, which is a judicial determination of probable cause, right? The defense wanted it really fast, but it didn't happen as planned because, in my opinion, I think this is why anyway, the defense learned that when David was arrested, they found a lot of CSAM material, which is pictures depicting inappropriate activity with minors. I hesitate to use the actual legal verbiage because of YouTube and the way that things are couched on this platform, but CSAM material was found on his phone. And so I think that may have sort of been a surprise to the defense. So now we're going to have to wait a few more days, but the prosecution actually, they say that they're eager to get the case scheduled for trial.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. I mean, they've had some time to get their ducks in a row. And actually, I'm pretty impressed with the fact that they've had 3 different investigatory grand juries, which is smart, as we've talked about on the show before, because it locks in testimony. So they've got witnesses that could potentially be super reluctant, or maybe they talked to police, lied to police. It's a whole lot different when you actually take the stand and you swear to tell the truth. Very different story. So I think they probably do have their ducks in a row. But one of the newest updates that we're learning is that major streamers, including Spotify and Apple Music, are now facing public pressure to remove David's music from their platform. Does not surprise me at all. He's also collaborated with several different artists, and those artists have been removing their songs. He was dropped by his label last year. And the biggest thing that we're watching now is the popular game Fortnite, which if you have teenagers or, preteens, all about, you and I both do, all about Fortnite. But apparently David collaborated with Fortnite back in 2024 and 2025, to release 2 music tracks, which I got to tell you, I didn't know you could release music tracks on Fortnite, but hey, you learn something new every day. And some dance animation for purchase. I know whenever I mention David to my kids, they make a crazy face. So I'm not sure how popular it was, but I'm guessing it was. But Fortnite is saying that they hear the concerns and they're going to apparently do something about it. They said they have a lot of changes coming up, but we don't really know what all those changes are. But I guess we're going to be looking forward to seeing how they actually handle this.
And you know what else is kind of new, Ashley? We've got details of Celeste Rivas' life making their way to the press. Her family is devastated, and they just couldn't, and I don't blame them for not being in court the other day, and I suspect that they may not be in court the next time either. But the community where she grew up is Lake Elsinore, California. It's not that big. It's a town of around 70,000 people, and it's north, 80 or so miles north of the Hollywood Hills home where Celeste was last seen alive. The neighborhood has small houses with chain link fences, and her parents' home has rosary beads now hanging on the front door in a painted rock nearby reading "You Matter." And it's just so sad. In one of the music videos that's out there, we'll show the video portion of it. We can talk about it right now. You can see there's the actress who looks so much like Celeste, right? And she's laying on a bed, presumably deceased, with what appears to be stab wounds in her torso. And it's surreal how close that really is to what prosecutors and the medical examiners say happened to Celeste. Ashley, did you see that?
I did. And, we've been dealing with this for a couple of years. I mean, maybe about 10 years, we've started having a lot of rap lyrics, music lyrics come into court. It's more common now. Historically, there was always lyrics that had talked about crime, but we're seeing them being used in court. And I think it's interesting. I know we're going to talk a lot more with our guest in the upcoming part of the show about this, but just a little preview. There is a big controversy really nationwide as to whether or not rap lyrics and different music lyrics should be able to be admitted into court. And this video is like a prime example. So there's different philosophies that people have. One of them is to try to keep this out. The other is obviously, if it comes in, try and discredit it. And so, with this video, when I first heard it, when I first saw it, when I saw the lyrics, I said, oh, great. If I was a defense lawyer, I would be cringing. But when you really think about it, it's not romantic homicide. It could refer to emotional pain. It could refer to heartbreak. You know, I mean, that's what music does. It's metaphoric. It's an exaggeration. You know, it's all those different things. So we don't really know what it means. Who knows the interpretation? And there's no mention.
Sorry, everybody. I should be good now. All right. Good news and bad news. I'm not going to tell any of it. I'm going to say the good news is we're here with each other. Tea with Tambo. I used to live down south, and Lake Eleanor is something that like is near and dear to me. And I can imagine you as well. It's a small town. It's in California. A lot of people that don't know it call it Elsinore, but we know it's Eleanor. All right. They are bragging all over about the demons and the evil. I say, shut the fuck up, bring it on, motherfuckers. I watch True Crime Scrapping, the CPP Colorado Pet. I only watch TV for the news. All right, what are we talking about today? Did I miss something? Ashley, I don't believe so. We got Flojo in here. We didn't miss anything except for I did not see that, and I apologize. Cat's Meow gifted another 5 memberships, so thank you so much. Please thank Cat's Meow if you receive that. Jessica Twerks. How come you have Jessica Twerks, but there's no picture? Yeah, it's Lake Eleanor is what it's called, and it's in California. You know where Lake Eleanor is if you're in Cali? All right, let's continue.
Of Celeste. Problem is this girl looks a heck of a lot like Celeste, but that's something that I'm sure both sides will be arguing at some point, but there's no details.
No, not only does she look like her, she's laying there with bloody stab wounds in her torso. I mean, it's really surreal. We saw this, we saw the use of sort of lyrics in Fulton County, I guess, last year in the YSL trial here in Atlanta, and the music industry got all up in arms about it. And look, I understand that, but we also, a little bit later in the show, we're going to talk about the Julio Fulio down in Florida, and the use of rap lyrics and rap videos are playing prominently in that trial right now. And so you've got some states that are passing legislation to limit or
okay, so this is perfect, and I'm so glad that I remembered to pull this clip out because it just came out and it addresses the fact that they will be able to use some of this stuff in court. And guys, you gotta put a 1 in chat if you think what he's saying meets those standards or criteria for court, because I wouldn't even have put this together if I thought that they weren't going to be able to use it. So put a 1 in chat if you think that his lyrics and some of his videos are enough evidence to get into the trial. It shows proof that he was premeditated, he had thought about it, and then he pulled it off. So I'm just curious because I'm like, I'm trying to stay on my true crime, and this is part of the true crime, and this can be used in court because it is eerily similar. It is literally, it's a parallel. What he did to Celeste is parallel with his music videos. It's parallel with the stab wounds that you see on the girl. It's literally parallel of the anime where there's missing parts of an arm and a leg. Right. Oh, it says it was supposed to be T-Rex. I made it when I was in middle school. Anyway, thank you, Jessica. I'm just gonna call you Jessica T-Rex. How about that? Thank you, guys. 1, it depends on the communist judge or real judge, my observations. All right. Which judge do you prefer? Let's continue. I think in California, they're going to use it, guys. All right.
Severely restrict the use of it, and California has such a law, and other states are moving in that direction. Florida, apparently, on the other hand, is less restrictive about it, but it does come down to the subjective interpretation. What does a jury possibly think it means if it is allowed to come in? And so we're going to have to see how this plays out, because there's going to be lots of, I think, appellate decisions coming out throughout the United States over the next decade or so on this issue.
Yeah, you're right, Phil. I mean, it is definitely a hot issue. We let it happen in Georgia. They let it happen in Florida. There's a lot of states that let it happen, but we have seen this legislation. We actually tried to push something through like this in Georgia, because the question really is, should the jury even be hearing this? You know, should they even be hearing this or not? Or is it a First Amendment right? So it is kind of a hot button issue in
Yeah, I think that they will hear this, guys. I particularly think in California, they're going to let this through, only because I just can't see that. I can't see them not being able to introduce any of this. It's too similar and it's too drawn out. It's too perfectly parallel. All right, so we'll finish this, and then I'm going to show you a couple things on Reddit.
The criminal world and the legal world, and even in the legislative world. So we'll definitely be talking more about that.
All right, here.
So I got a question.
What's the question?
Why don't you hold my hands anymore?
Oh, here we go again, bro.
Nah, I'm so serious.
Bro,
I'm so serious. Like,
yeah, that is haunting. That is very haunting. And I do know that they will use that, not the one that's dubbed, whoever recorded it, wherever that recording was that I showed you last week, they're definitely going to use this for trial. There's no way they're not. The videos, I know, the animated one, I'll show it to you with no music in a second. Behind the scenes, he addresses his music as showing and portraying his mentality. Now, is that what he said? Or, okay, so you're saying it's inadmissible, but in California, they will use that. And I'll look it up while I show you some other things, like what's next. I'll show you. Oh, no, I did want to do this. I forgot. So also here's the invisible string theory and the lyrics. Let's take a look at that, because I did bring that to show it to you. We're not going to listen to the music, but I cannot imagine this being inadmissible. And I will show you the cartoon one. That's what I made my thumbnail from. Right. So there's the David invisible string theory. Now, mind you, this came out, it's on YouTube, April 24th, 2025. Celeste was dead by what? April, they speculate 23rd, 2025. And that conversation had already been had about the invisible string theory, and Celeste asking him, hold on, I'm not going to put that because I want you guys to. So I got a question. What's the question? Why don't you hold my hand anymore? Here we go again, bro. I'm so serious. Now, this is a song, guys. This is the song. Like, you're not funny. Sorry. Let me All right, guys. I mean, this is the second day in a row, and I just lost a bunch of people. All right, are you guys still here? Who's here? Put a 1 in chat. There's still 183 people here. This is literally the second day that this has happened to me with StreamYard. So if you would kindly just throw a 1 in chat so I know that you guys are with me. Oh man, I have a love-hate thing with StreamYard, all right? It's really, I really do. I'm like, damn it. I'm here. Okay, you guys can hear me again. Let's get back to it because damn it. How does that happen? How does that? Okay, whatever. We're good. Positive. All right, here we go. Let's take a look real quick what's next for him while I pull up some other things.
21-year-old singer David pleading not guilty to murder in the death of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Her body found dismembered and decomposed inside a Tesla.
The wheels are all beat up. There's a huge dent in the back.
She had been involved in a sexual relationship with Mr. Burke when she was a minor and he was an adult. Substantial amount of time that passed between her death and the discovery meant that crucial evidence had degraded or disappeared.
That's the part that doesn't add up here. They were having a very difficult time determining a manner of death.
The car almost looks like it's been off-road, out in the desert or something.
I never really got to know if they're...
You're pleading not guilty, denying any and all special allegations? Yes, Your Honor.
I just hope that the truth comes forward.
Thanks for joining us. I'm going to pause this for a second. Now we're going to go to that anime thing I just got to show you because it's, I mean, we put the cartoon on there, right? So this is the anime. I'm not playing the music. It's called it's David's music. All right. He has 2.38 million subscribers and he calls this song Rehab. It's the anime video. All right. I'm going to press play button with no sound. So just so you can see it. I was just talking away. Didn't know better. Okay. So you guys can see now. You can see this a little better than you could. I'm going to bring it down here. Yeah, no more voice text when you're saying that. You think he's going to get sued by Katakawa? Why? All right, let's look at this. Look at the Laughing Geisha company or t-shirt. It's just weird to me. So apparently that's the Black Dahlia, an autopsy. I don't know why the hell you'd want that. And then this says Hell Praiser, and it's like the little teen 13 cover, right? Now I don't know who that is. If you know who that is, let me know. Well, he paid $178 for this mustard, weird looking shirt. Okay. All right. So there you go. There's a picture of the shirt. A lot of people are making a big deal about the shirt. They're reading into the fact that there's an autopsy picture with one eye missing. And these pictures, I'm not in the anime world, guys. So I don't even pretend to understand all of what is going on there. But I know the people that do watch that will know. All right.
Celeste Rivas Hernandez was found in Burke's impounded car at the Hollywood Tow Yard in September. The timeline of the case goes back as far as last April when she was reported missing. The medical examiner's office says Celeste Rivas Hernandez died from 2 penetrating wounds to her upper body, one to her liver, one to her left chest that damaged her ribs.
Okay.
Criminal complaint says the 21-year-old singer killed the 14-year-old girl with a sharp object. Her body was later found dismembered in a zippered body bag in his vehicle's trunk in that Hollywood.
And this is what's coming next. And I appreciate that. I'm going to say Jesse says, oh my God, my hubby and I have been following your channel and you're the only one covering the story so detailed and with empathy, not to mention how beautiful of a group you have following. Well, thank you. You guys, please welcome Jesse and hubby to the crime crew. All right. Thank you. Don't forget to hit the notifications, all that. Now, Maggie says, if his crap is being listened to, does he get royalties? Well, if you were at the beginning, every person that's cut him off gets nothing. There's no royalties. He doesn't exist anymore. His life as he knew it, his sponsors, his friends, his family, his groupies, his video games, his crock ads. He gets nothing for any of that. So if you guys did come in a little late, I suggest you go back to the beginning of my video. He gets nothing. Now, does the family get royalties? I don't think so. But maybe there's something in the contract. I don't have the contract. Justice for Celeste. I won't read my email. I won't. Thank you for saying that.
Tow yard. Officials say her body was so decomposed her eye color couldn't be determined. Burke is now behind bars without bail after pleading not guilty to murder, sexual abuse of a child, and corpse mutilation. Prosecutors say Burke killed Rivas Hernandez because he thought she would expose him for allegedly having sex with her when she was 14 and he was 20. The preliminary hearing is set to start May 1st. Burke could face life in prison without parole or the death penalty if convicted. In a statement to the California Post, the family of the girl says in part,
and this does bother me that the family has only said this. Now, the brother crying, I hope that was actually the brother crying. I saw a little bit of a controversy. But thank you, Brady. I appreciate you, because she was missing one eye. I know, that's what I'm trying to show everybody, the parallel. I'm trying to show you the parallel between what happened to Celeste Rivas Hernandez in real life versus what David was showing the whole world. It was parallel. He might as well just put a mirror in front of himself and let us all see it, because I still don't think people believe that what he was doing was actually what he was showing us. All right, Renee's going back to the beginning with my popcorn. All right, you're welcome. Spotify is there for him. No, Spotify, I told you guys in the beginning, they dropped him. Every single, let me hit play and then I'll rename the people that dropped him for you.
Celeste Rivas Hernandez, this is the family wrote, she was a beautiful, strong girl who loved to sing and dance. Every Friday night was movie night, and we spent wonderful times together. We love her very much. She always told us that she loved us. We miss her deeply. All we want is justice for Celeste. For more on this story, criminal defense attorney Mark Garagos joins me now. Mark, thanks for being with us. We appreciate that.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Let's talk about the defense right now. How do you see this playing out as we move forward?
I really have my doubts. I know that in the setup here, you were saying, and everybody is reporting preliminary hearing this week on May the 1st. I have serious doubts that that's going to go forward. I think this is the legal or litigation.
Okay, so this is why I wanted to talk to you about this with Mark Garagos. It just came out this morning because there's so many important dates coming up. I want you to realize that everything's going to be dependent on the defense. Okay, now not everything, but the defense is either going to have to get what they get in the discovery, or they're going to have to file motions to delay the trial in order to go over it, right? Now, if the prosecution does that, we don't know how it's going to work because they haven't the prosecution hasn't handed over anything to the defense, so they don't know what they're working with. Danny says, I saw MPD Psycho live action. The director also directed Ichi the Killer live action. Interesting. See, I don't know any of this stuff. I don't watch anime or do any of that. I don't have any connection to that, but adults like it, and so do children. When you get two worlds clashing, and that, you're in trouble.
Version of playing chicken. I don't think for a second the prosecution expected the defense to demand a speedy preliminary hearing. You have a right when you're in custody to demand a speedy preliminary hearing, and the remedy is either dismissal or you get released from custody with some exceptions. And the defense, I think, feels like most of us do, including me, that the prosecution got push came to shove, and LAPD made an arrest and kind of forced the prosecution's hand, and now they're left sitting here trying to decide what to do.
Are you saying that you aren't sure the prosecution has enough evidence, in your opinion?
Not necessarily that they don't have enough, but in a high-profile case, it is a different sort of scrutiny that prosecutors and judges and the defense are obviously under. This is a a new DA in the sense that he's only been there for 15 months, the elected DA. He's lost several high-profile cases, most notably ASAP Rocky, and lost his resentencing, trying to block the resentencing of the Menendez brothers. And so there's a lot on the line for the DA, and that's number one. Number two, it's highly unusual for the LAPD in a case where the DA has been before not one, not two, but three grand juries to then have the LAPD go and arrest a person who's obviously the target of the grand jury without a charging document, meaning there was no criminal complaint. They had not sought that we know of a criminal indictment, and that forced the DA to, within 48 hours, and mind you, you know better than anybody, they arrested him on a Thursday early evening. So that threw a cork in the law, gave them until Monday morning to file the case, which they did, and they came out swinging. This murder case with three special circumstances is about as serious as it gets in the criminal justice system.
So I don't know if you can play prosecutor for a minute. If you're the prosecution, what are your concerns right now? What are you trying to accomplish in this window here?
Well, I think that the prosecution has done exactly what I expected them to do. The first thing they did, once the defense said, we're ready to go, we're not going to waive time, they then got on the record and they started talking about child porn and that there are wiretaps and that there are 40 terabytes. And I jokingly said I'm old enough to remember when I didn't know what a terabyte was, and a worth of discovery that they dumped on the defense. And so if I'm the prosecution, that's the kind of thing. And also they stated child porn on the phones, specifically, I think, to kind of taint the jury pool. And so that's what they have done. You have seen, all you got to do is take a look at the comments when there's any reporting around this case, and it's been a very effective strategy by the prosecution.
So if you're the defense now, what are your steps?
I think what the defense has done is very astute. I know that a lot of ex-DAs are criticizing. I've watched the commentary, and they're criticizing the defense for not being able to be ready. And frankly, there is no way that the defense could be ready in this short period of time with 40 terabytes, when you think about how much information that is worth of discovery, not having the grand jury transcripts, only recently within the last week getting the medical examiner's report, not having the ability to maybe have experts already retained who could take a look at or do a second kind of a pathology report. So if you're the defense, that's why I say this is a game of chicken between both sides to see who's going to blink first. Is it going to be the prosecution who goes and gets an indictment and announces it on Thursday, given that there's a Friday setting for the preliminary hearing? Or is it going to be the defense who on Wednesday files what's called a 1050, referring to the penal code, motion to continue the case? That's entirely possible.
Mark, we should note that you have covered amongst the biggest of cases as a defense attorney. And I'm thinking with the Michael movie after you covered, you actually were the attorney for Michael Jackson, one of his cases that we covered many years ago, sex abuse case. My question for you is, what makes this case so difficult for both sides, such a national interest now?
This is one of those cases that I would, as somebody who's born, raised, and educated in Los Angeles, I'll tell you, it's the quintessential Los Angeles case that grips the nation and becomes kind of supersized. It has got celebrity, it's got music, it's got sex, it has a kind of a circumstantial aspect to it. Anytime you have a case that is circumstantial in nature, there isn't, so far that we know, direct evidence, meaning eyewitness testimony, but that we could all be mistaken about that. That could be in the grand jury transcripts that have yet to be unsealed. But as of right now, the public views this as a circumstantial case, and that intrigues we're in a era where these kind of police procedurals and dramas and Netflix are flooded, and the highest rated series are always about these kinds of stories, if you will. Books are written along the lines of this. It's a whodunit, how did it happen? Those kinds of intrigue and scandal. And it checks every single box.
Yeah, when you put it that way, it really does feel like almost like a Hollywood storyline. My question for you, as we watch pictures of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, we're reminded that she was 14 years old when she died. Body wasn't found for some time after. That's why the confusion was thinking she was 15. It was 14 when she actually died. And she had been a runaway, that's the reports, despite her family saying very sweet things about her watching Friday movie nights. When you see her picture, your thoughts on this whole storyline?
Well, I've been involved in enough cases, as you indicate, where the pictures kind of trample whatever the evidence is, and that the pictures are what resonate with the public. And you see a young girl like that, and anybody who has a heart or any kind of emotions is obviously going to gravitate towards that and understand, and that's going to resonate with them. And that is a hurdle that you have to get over if you're the defense. If you're the prosecution, you do what they've effectively done, what the chief was doing in terms of telling the public that you're trying to get to justice. I think one of the kind of sidebars to
There's 197, there's 201 people in chat, and I'm not even at my desk. Just kidding. I'm gonna start just pressing play and be like, hey, what y'all doing? What are you doing now? And by the way, thank you guys for being patient with me. It's not good news, but at least we have something else. So, all right, let's continue. We've got a leak, and it's not a good leak. All right, thank you, Allie. I appreciate that. I even want to know what the hell's going on. And guys, you know Mark Garagos is one of the most sought after defense attorneys, and he likes to interject himself. Obviously, he wants to be in the spotlight, but he does give us real talk about what's happening.
Story, frankly, has been the medical examiner.
Hey, Stars.
You and I have been around long enough in this town to be taken somewhat aback by the public statements by the medical examiner, who LAPD went in and got a basically an order to shut the medical examiner up, for lack of a better term, to get him to not talk. And the medical examiner, at that first or second appearance, the judge in the criminal courts building, the Clara Shortridge Foltz building, ordered that the medical examiner could release the report. And along with the report, the medical examiner also said, look, there should never be a situation where transparency and the public's right to know is curtailed. And I thought that was a brave thing for them to do. The medical examiner, even though legally they're part of the prosecution team,
I hate to say this, but I really would want to be at that trial, to sit down there. And I did say this already. I told Flojo the other day I'd love to go down to the courthouse and see some stuff happening, especially when they're doing like the autopsy. They have the medical examiner on the stand. And it's not because I'm like gruesome and I want to see that stuff, but I gotta tell you guys, this is just a passion of mine, and I want to learn as much as I can about this whole process of the law, the law tube part, the part of the medical examiner, the part of the, everything, the bullets, the every kind of thing that you think about is what I want to learn. All right. So if that goes to trial, I am just like a 60 minutes flight away from Los Angeles, and I want to go and see what's going on with this trial, because I have a feeling it's going to be very eerie in that courtroom. Bree, I got your email, my friend. Thank you. I am ordering the books for CrimeCon, so I'm going to order yours, and then I'll get it out to you. Thank you for checking back in with me. I did get it. I just been really, really busy. All right, let's continue. Yes, learning the truth, because getting it secondhand from the news or anyone else is their interpretation and perspective. It's not always what it seems, obviously.
From an evidentiary standpoint, they are supposed to be a standalone. They're supposed to adhere to scientific evidence and not be a handmaiden, so to speak, of the prosecution. And that's what they were trying to do in this case. So it also adds another layer of intrigue. Many people are speculating, why was LAPD at odds with the medical examiner? Why was there the need to run into court not once but twice to shut the medical examiner up, basically?
The information we have on the manner of death, it's just so disturbing.
You see that? They wanted to shut the medical examiner up I am. That's what I'm saying, Flojo. I want to make sure that it's going to happen, though, because I won't be able to like stay down there and wait around like JLR and Dolly and all that. I'd have to go down for a certain amount of days. So we'll try to figure that out. If they go to trial, I will try my best to fly down there and go for a couple days because I really want to see the evidence in person, what the courtroom feels like, what the people outside feel like. And Los Angeles is a hop, skip, and a jump away. So
it was starting to come out in pieces that we would hear that, a body found in the back of a Tesla at the Hollywood tow yard, and this singer David, who owns the car, is on tour, and then we hear that the body was dismembered, and then it's a 14. I mean, there's a lot to it that is really quite gruesome. And we're also in a country where you want a fair trial if you're the person who is charged. What are your thoughts on singer David?
Well, he's got there. When I talk about
I love how he starts off because he's a defense attorney. You automatically know that when you listen to Mark Garagos, he's going to play the devil's advocate. All right. And I love playing devil's advocate too, because you learn a lot, but he's going to play devil's advocate. Let's listen to that. All right. Good night, Synth, and anyone else that's leaving. Love you guys. Thank you for the support.
Uphill battle for the prosecution in terms of they wanted to have all of their ducks in, or the proverbial ducks in a row. Remember, the defense is up against it in terms of the public already and rightfully has a lot of kind of collective protective instincts towards a young girl. Then when you layer over that the fact that the DA is also already putting out a narrative that there was child porn on the David's phone, not once, not twice, but 3 times. And then,
by the way, we're trying to get that converted to be called CSAM, right? We want everybody to call it CSAM, which is child sexual abuse material, not child PORN, because you can't consent to that. And hey, nothing's wrong with PORN. If you guys like that as an adult, as a consenting adult, watch away. But you got to be a consenting adult, not a child where someone's abusing you and filming it. All right. So we call that CSAM. That's what we're trying to make sure in the next year or two people use that. All right. I thought you were just teasing, but yeah, they would definitely let Sage through. I don't see why not. All right, let's continue. Mark Garagos looks pretty good. He didn't overdo his work. His face still moves. Good job, man.
Layer over that the ME's report, which to your point is gruesome in the sense that there are fingers missing, that it appears that the body was dismembered. There is, as reported by my podcast partner Harvey Levin a while ago, which people tried to push back on, waterlogged fingers, which leads you and all the circumstantial evidence sleuths to start speculating there as well. The problem is, everybody is going to, at a certain point, and the law is that you have to set aside the emotions. You have to set aside those.
Sometimes I'm not sure if y'all are caught up. Like Krista says, big difference. Are you caught up with Mark Garagos right now? All right, Gigi, how you doing? Good to see you. Welcome in. Ali always catches my humor. His face still moves, right? Like he hasn't pulled it all back yet. Doesn't look too bad for an old man that's had some work done. Now, guys, if you're going to live in Los Angeles, okay, or Hollywood or any of those areas, you're not going to want to walk around with a wrinkly ass face, because Los Angeles is probably one of the most shallow places I've ever been to, besides San Diego, which I love. I adore both places, but it's much different than like the Bay Area. I'm in the Bay Area. The Bay Area vibe is a lot more. You start going north and you got like hippie kind of status, beaches and Santa Cruz. Los Angeles, man, every other billboard's like, get a tummy tuck, get your face lifted. If you come to Southern Cali, I'd love to. I go to Southern Cali a lot, Allie. All right. So yeah, we should definitely hook up at some point. It's not about you being shallow. It's just the vibe of every billboard being like, would you like to look prettier? Come on in and we'll only charge you $999 for a pretty face. It's all over that. Anyway, greetings from Sacramento. Yeah, Flojo's, you're down there. You're down south. All right. Well, we're going to Vegas. So I'm in San Diego. I was going to say people here. I love San Diego. We love going to La Jolla, right on the beach where the sea lions come up, and people are shallow AF. But I can get down with shallow as well. It's okay. You can do what you want. Do what you want. I'm gonna let Wes in because he wants in.
Sympathies and examine the case on the evidence, and that's always a very hard task. The mental gymnastics of that when you've heard this kind of inflammatory information.
I'm thinking of the music videos that this singer had put out. I'd not heard of him before, but apparently he was on the rise. We have played his music video on Fox 11 here, and there's talk of death, and there's blood, and there's, I believe, a body. So the music video, which is, he's a musician, and many musicians do put out graphic kind of product. Your thoughts on how that plays into this case?
All right, so these are the thoughts from the wise one. All right, he does play devil's advocate. He is a defense attorney. I forgot about the fingers. Yeah, the fingers are missing, and that was an anime thing as well. If you were to look at the storyboard and the whole thing that was happening, that's why I showed you guys the designer that worked with David earlier. He laid out that story the same way that Celeste Rivas Hernandez was not only killed but dismembered and put in a trunk. However, they didn't have a frunk, so it was in the back. And in the back, you can fit a body. But in a Tesla, Jennifer Coffindoffer tried to go into the front trunk, and she's not very big, and she couldn't fit in there at all. All right? So think about that and make it make sense. Yeah, Malibu's great as well. I told you guys I've been to Axl Rose's house a couple times for Halloween parties. He still lives in the same damn house in Malibu that when I was a teenager, maybe 15, 16 years old. It's weird. It's wild, but Malibu is beautiful. And Axl Rose lives there. If you know him, you know him. The dog is on the floor. He says, I don't want to get up, Mom. I just wanted to bitch at you, Mom. All right, let's continue. Closing thoughts from Garagos. What's going to happen? Are they going to play this music? Are they going to show any of these things in court? Is the jury going to get to see any of this?
It's a very topical issue right now. And I say that there is a man who's on death row scheduled to be executed this Thursday, and rap lyrics were used in the conviction that got him the death penalty.
I told you. I'm born and raised in Cali, and I'm going to tell you right now, there's a lot of rappers that come from Cali, a lot of rappers that you'd call street rappers from the Bay Area, etc. They would never miss the opportunity to get a parallel song that says, I'm going to go do a drive-by shooting of your house, then blow your mom's car up, and then chop up your animals, right? That's what he said. And then you go to the crime scene, and that's exactly what happened in his music. They are not going to lose that opportunity. Right now, I just made all that up about whatever. But the whole point is, California, there's too many people here, Hollywood, and too many other things going on for them not to consider that. I do not speak Spanish, but I'm sure people in chat do. All right, let's continue. So I think they will use a lot of this, guys.
Some of your viewers may remember the trial of Young Thug that took place and was televised and was covered, at least in a lot of communities, rather prominently. Rap lyrics were used there. There is a case pending in Los Angeles in the Central District federally, Little Dirk, where rap lyrics are as front and center, whether they're going to be admitted as something else. I still think in this case, that's going to be a battleground for the prosecution and the defense. The prosecution is going to be arguing, look, you want to see his modus operandi, so to speak, his pattern, his intent. You want to take a look at it, look at the lyrics. Defense is going to say, what are you doing here? You're criminalizing artistic thought and expression. You can't allow that in. So that is going to be something that a judge is going to have to wrestle with and decide, is that more prejudicial than probative? That's the standard that they use.
Well, I know you and Harvey Levin of TMZ discuss all of these cases. in great depth. And the issue that comes up a lot in big cases like this that are so public is, does the person have a chance at a fair trial?
I think David absolutely has a chance at a fair trial, guys, because nobody knows. All right. Nobody really knows who the hell he is. Yo hablo español. Okay, there you go. Now you got a rebuttal. Whoever wants to talk Spanish, have at it. I read that David Burke wants a haircut and fresh clothes for tomorrow. Wow. Tomorrow's not the first, though. Is there another hearing? Are they having something tomorrow ahead of it? Is it like the pre? All right, let's continue. Let me know in
How
chat.
does that play out for you?
Well, the problem with these cases, and I've been arguing and writing about this and lecturing about it for years. We have now, when it comes to these cases that I call them a typical LA case or a supersized case or a tabloid style scandal case. We imported that model and the coverage of that model from the United Kingdom. The difference that the United Kingdom has is when these cases reach the critical mass and they're ready for trial, they have something called the Contempt of Court Act. They shut down coverage at that point. And
they certainly do, and I cannot stand that. That's why a lot of times I don't cover things from other countries, because they'll put things out, but then when it comes to court, they're not playing, guys. They don't care about any of that. They're not going to give you your 15 minutes of fame. It's going to be a freaking judge that wears that damn wig and it's like, you're locked up forever. You know what I mean? I'm fluent in Spanish. If he's enjoying this attention, then he is more psychopathic and other things than I could ever imagine, because I cannot for the life of me understand why you would trade that life for that jail cell. I just can't.
And they do that for a reason. They say the public's got a right to know until you get to a trial. The way to protect the right to a trial is by clamping down on coverage. I don't think that would ever work in the U.S. What has worked on several occasions, and I could give you two examples would be Casey Anthony, Aaron Hernandez, is if you have a sequestered jury. If the jury is sequestered, so at the point when they start to hear evidence, they aren't going home each night and hearing things and reading things, whether,
Has anyone ever been on a sequestered jury? I would not want to be on that. I think they sequestered the jury for one of the first Lori Vallow trial. But I've heard of them being sequestered, and that would suck. He was bored not being a murderer. How could you be bored? This guy had everything, guys. Yeah, go let the pups out. I just don't get it. I cannot understand. I don't know that he has a hearing. Let me look it up real quick. I didn't know he had a hearing tomorrow. I thought it went straight to May 1st, but I'll check.
Unconsciously, on purpose or inadvertently. It's almost always the case. Every case I've ever both been involved in or commented on, that there is always something that gets into the jury that did not get into evidence. And that is the biggest problem you've got, because you don't have the ability to test whether or not that is, number one, credible, number two, whether it's admissible, and whether or not you're just doing something or convicting based on community outrage, as opposed to the evidence which is comes from the courtroom or inside the courtroom or from the witness stand.
Well, always a worthy discussion with you, Mark Garagos. Thank you so much for your time. Of course, all of LA, perhaps much of the nation, is really watching this case with singer.
Yes, we are, and this is a different one for me. Being that you have to look into Reddit, X, everywhere to find these things. Question: will you do a live? Yeah, I can always do a live call-in about this case or any case. I think Fridays are always a good day to do that. But yeah, I mean, if you guys want call-ins, I just need people to call in. Soy de Puerto Rico. You live in Puerto Rico? That's awesome. Mab's back. All right. So I was looking for, and you said it's the readiness hearing? Oh, they're going to push it out. Okay, you're right. Okay, so listen, guys. Tomorrow's April 29th, and this is what the hearing is, so we know. Yeah. All right. So an independent channel, Los Angeles, ABC, CBS Los Angeles, is tracking this case, And April 29th, it's going to be a status hearing. It is not a preliminary hearing. It's to review the progress of the discovery. So the defense has not gotten any discovery, though. So the judge is going to check in on what discovery have you given to the defense, what's left to give to the defense. Are you going to be close to being ready on May 1st, or do we need to? Right now, that's going to confirm whether both sides are ready for the next major step. Again, no waive, nothing has been waived. No right to a jury trial to waive that right. It's otherwise it's go time. So they're going to address scheduling, and they're going to determine if the May 1st preliminary hearing can even proceed, depending on how far they've come. They also said the court will reconvene on April 29th just to check on okay, so you're right, the readiness and the prelim. I was like, what does that mean, readiness? Like, I know what it means, but, and then there's a secondary status update conference on Wednesday the 29th. So we might get another hearing set after court. It does say that. It says they're going to have a court appearance with discovery. And then after that event, we'll get some kind of status hearing, or we'll get some kind of hearing to find out what's next and if May is going to be delayed. All right. So defense has not filed any motions to unseal. Really interesting. So how are they going to do that in that time? There's no way they're going to be able to. 40 terabytes going through. 40 terabytes going to make a minute to go through. That's, I know. And the prosecution has had 7 months to do so. The defense hasn't, and they're trying to not waive his right to a speedy trial. That could be a bad move, guys. That could be a real bad move. It's rare these days to be sequestered. Yeah, it is, but I saw it happen. I thought it was in the Lori Vallow case. Yeah, that's enormous. I think David's going to be backed into a corner, guys, where he has to waive his right and have more time. Otherwise, I don't know how they're going to do it. Yeah, I did. I watched Bruce Rivers about this earlier. He bet us that Blair Burke, David's attorney. Yes, I listened to that today, and Bruce Rivers says that the defense attorney, Blair Burke, is going to burn up that $3 million bonus that David just received for his tour. And then once he burns through the money, or they burn through the money, then he's going to come in with any kind of defense that he can get. Now, remember, David transferred anything he had, his assets, we'll say, to his parents. All right. So according to the state, it's going to show that he's indigent, that he doesn't have money or assets. Now, is that going to work? I don't know. Jay, check the video out. It breaks down the whole process. Very easy. I would if it was uploaded somewhere, though. It won't let me do that. Are you talking about the TikTok? Okay. All right, I see it. Let's do this real quick. 5 minutes. Y'all are here, and then I'll go. All right, let's take a look and see if you guys can hear this. Then I'll play it. This is gonna break down the possible outcome and what we can expect to see in the preliminary hearing. Put a 1 in chat if you can hear it. If you can, we'll listen, and then we'll dip.
Expect to see at a preliminary hearing for David. Friday, May 1st is set to be.
Oh, damn it. I knew I was going to do that.
What can you expect to see at a preliminary hearing for David? Friday, May 1st is set to be David's preliminary hearing. It's day 9 of 10, which means the DAs have to have a preliminary hearing by Monday, May 4th, which is 10 of 10. They're court days, not calendar days. So several things could happen on Friday, the 9 of 10. Number one, the DAs could trail it to the 10 of 10, which is Monday the 4th.
It is.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's one option. A second option is they could be ready for a preliminary hearing, and it would happen starting that day. Number three, the defense could ask the court for more time to prepare for the case, which is probably most likely. Okay. Number 4, the DA could say, I'm not going to be ready within the period. I'm not going to be ready before Monday the 4th. So we will dismiss the case and refile it immediately.
Oh, that
What
better
that
not
would do
happen.
was they would dismiss the case. The judge would grant that request. David will be ordered to arraignment court downstairs, and he would then be rearranged on a new case number.
Okay, now these are possibilities that I really hope aren't never come into existence. I mean, I think there's scenarios, but there's the worst of the worst that can happen. And guys, they've already had 3 probative grand juries, and they've got plenty of David's friends to flip on him. So I'm going to really say a prayer that justice for Celeste happens faster and we don't have to go through all this. This is ridiculous. I don't even understand why they did the 3 grand jury, proto grand jury. Why were they still bringing in information? And yes, I hope they do not let him out on bail. And because he hasn't done anything ever, he's like 20. How old is he now? 20, 21, 20, at 22, 23. He has no criminal record. All right. Yes, Deborah, it would. But he's not being charged for that right now. Nothing about the charges say that, do they? Does anyone see any CSAM charges? Did I miss something? All right, let's continue. Hopefully none of this happens.
For the same charges. That happens routinely. If the DAs are not ready, they sometimes dismiss the case and refile it, which they're allowed to do. That's an option. If the case goes to preliminary hearing,
he's so dumb.
What you should not expect is, number 1, all the evidence to be shown. There is 0 chance they'll be sharing with you the contents of those 40 terabytes of information. That ain't happening. Because the standard of proof is so much lower in a probable cause hearing, a preliminary hearing, than it is for trial. In trial, you have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that David's guilty of the charges. In a preliminary hearing, you have to prove there's probable cause to hold him over for hearing. Okay? Probable cause is.
Now, guys, we've already met the burden for probable cause, though. I mean, don't you agree with that, Flojo? I don't know why. I mean, I guess she's just giving scenarios. And the reason the Diddy the Diddler got denied bail is because he already was in a no extradition place when he came back and turned himself in. He just wanted to hang out with his family. But he could have literally just skipped out and stayed there with the no extradition and just waited it out. So David could also do the same thing. Yeah, he probably wouldn't. They said 15 years maximum for CSAM. And because it doesn't weigh heavy like it does in, let's say, I don't know why, but like murder trial, they'd give him 15 years and he'd be out in like 7.5. So we hope not. Interesting. It's hard to say. I'm going to say with his ego, probably not. All right, let's wrap this up. Let's see what's going to happen. Tomorrow's a hearing. We'll all, keep in contact with each other about what's happening. If something major comes up, of course.
A lot lower than beyond a reasonable doubt. Probable cause in layman's terms is like, I have a strong belief, a reasonable belief that the crime occurred and that he committed the crime.
Trafficking.
A reasonable belief.
Minors.
Okay. It's more than a suspicion. It's a belief, and it must be reasonable. What's an example of an unreasonable belief? Let's say if I said, I think Tupac's still alive. That's not a reasonable belief. Okay. Your belief has to be reasonable. Okay. The judge has to believe, based upon the evidence, that is reasonable to conclude that David committed the crime. All right. So what would the DA use to prove that there's probable cause to hold David for trial? They can do several things. They can call witnesses, civilian and law enforcement witnesses. They call the coroner to discuss cause of death. They can present evidence like videos, photographs, Discord chats, etc. Wiretap information for when they wiretapped his phone or whoever's phone. All these are acceptable means to prove the case. Okay. But again, the standard is low. So the DAs won't put everything out there. Because the truth is, the DAs have not. There's zero chance they reviewed all of that information. So they're going to put in what they have to put in, just enough to get them held to answer. And in the time between preliminary hearing and trial, they'll prepare by reading all the discovery and giving it all to the defense. Okay. At the end of the hearing, at the end of the prosecution's case, let me go back. The prosecution presents evidence and witnesses.
And I'm glad that she's breaking this down, because I think by the end of this case, all of us will be semi law tuber, beginning for law tubers, right? The lawyer covered this case, and I started listening to it, and I got lost about a third of the way through, because you really gotta pay attention what the hell's going on in this case. I'm glad she's giving the scenarios, but I don't think we're gonna have to go through much of that with 3 probative grand juries. There's absolutely enough evidence, in my opinion, but is it circumstantial? I was gonna ask you that earlier. Do you guys think most of the evidence is circumstantial, or do you think they have powerful evidence that's going to connect DNA, videos, who was driving the car, who dumped it, who, et cetera, et cetera? I hope so. It's like a pretrial for tomorrow, pulling in the info and send it on the news. Okay. All right. Well, David is a threat to our youth. He's a threat to anybody under what, 11? All right, let's continue. We'll see what happens, and we'll double back. Tomorrow I'll be back 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, per usual.
The defense attorney gets a chance to cross-examine the witnesses. Okay.
Yes.
At the end of the people's case, the defense has an opportunity at the hearing to call witnesses on their own. They can even call David. They won't, but they can.
Yeah.
Then the DA has an opportunity to cross-examine their witnesses. That's why you don't put David on the stand. You don't want the DA to cross-examine him.
He's a weirdo anyway.
In the hearing, with both sides have rested, the defense lawyer will ask the court to dismiss the charges. In this case, I suspect they'll ask the court to dismiss the first-degree murder, or in the alternative, to reduce the first-degree murder.
And don't freak out, guys, when they do that, okay? You're good. CSAM, we're not trying to be jerks. Just, kids can't agree to PORN, so it's really child abuse material. Thank you. You don't have to convert, but we're trying to get it. Yeah, I know. I want to believe that too, but here's the thing is, they know too much to not have it, number one. And number two, David was recording his own crimes, guys. I mean, he's showing us on the day that Celeste was dead, he's doing a video, and he's showing us that her purse is still in the damn background, and people can ID it. You know what I mean? He goes on stage and goes on tour and brings a little girl, and you see the evidence with her and his brother in the video. Right? I mean, he's filming his own. What about the words? The words that Celeste told them with the string theory, right? We got this invisible string theory that came from Celeste that you hear on a phone call. Where did that come from? David. Where did a lot of these videos that everyone's talking about? David. It was his own social media that gave it away. Damn.
To voluntary manslaughter or to second-degree murder. If that's unsuccessful, they'll then ask the court to dismiss the special circumstances of lying in wait, of murder for gain, financial gain, and of killing a witness. If that's unsuccessful, then David will be held over for trial on those charges. If they are successful, and for some reason the court finds there's not enough evidence to prove the special circumstances, David's bail will be reduced. Meaning he go from no bail to high bail.
That sucks.
The DAs, of course, will fight against that, but that's the argument from the defense is that now there are no special circumstances. Now that he cannot receive death, he should have a bail, not no bail. And they can fight about that. Okay.
I hope the judge is smart enough to see that he has the ability to run. Guys, we're almost done. And yes, we will do live call-ins. Remember, Friday is Corey Michelow's. It would be his 12th birthday. So I believe we're planning something with that. But I will give you guys enough heads up to do a call-in, because it's no fun to have a call-in show when nobody calls in, right? You're absolutely right. A lazy mess, and he filmed his own crimes.
What's most likely to happen is the DAs will put a minimum amount of evidence up, just enough to get him held to answer. The judge will bind him over, because they bind everyone over, and he'll go to the next court in 2 weeks from May 1st. Okay? Put your questions in the chat. That was a long one, but I wanted to make sure y'all understood what that means, probable cause hearing.
All right. Well, we've gone
What
through.
can you expect to see at a preliminary?
We've definitely gone through probable cause again and again. So let's just pray that it goes well tomorrow. Let's pray that they don't give him any kind of bail. Just keep it at 0 bail until we figure out what's happening, and that the preliminary hearing on May 1st will lead us into a trial. If not a trial, then at least a deal. All right. What did Gigi say? If by any way David wants to take the easy way out, he sure has a hot home reserved for him in hell. Amen to that. Right? He wants to use his mental health and the pills that he takes and his depression for what he did. Nah, we all have problems. We all are sad. We all have certain things, and we don't do that to people. All right. So say a prayer that Celeste gets the justice she deserves, and that everything goes well, and that they don't drop the ball. On that note, we've been here for over 3 hours, guys. Thank you for being patient with me when I needed to talk to my plumber. We'll be back tomorrow. Thank you for helping meet the goal. I'll think of something, and we'll get back tomorrow. Come on tomorrow, and I'll do a giveaway. All right? Love you guys, and I'm out. Thank you.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty?